Can we jump with this step from accepted orders from low level to high level, or with your experience it's next information?
Yes, because you may not always want to accept the orders given to you by high level. I mean, we could turn it off if you feel absolutely necessary, but we tend to believe it's good practice to accept it first and validate the orders before you just accept it. Because once you've accepted, you can't make changes to it at high level.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because it's been accepted by the low level board, you can't. High level can no longer move this around. Mm-hmm. It's the low level, whoever's at low level is in control of it now. So the act of accepting it is saying, okay, it's now my responsibility. Mm-hmm. So that's why we tend to keep that in there. Now my low level thing's gone completely hoo-ha. There we go. Okay, so in this example, you would filter again for all the same product code. Okay, we've only got that one. Now we can select them all again at the same time. Load our orders. And at the moment, they're all separate. So there's still like many orders, as you can see. Big quantities. But if I click on the consolidate option, by style, you see?
Yeah.
It's all gone into one style now.
Yeah.
And one strip. It's just one long strip. And then I can now control them all together as one. You can still see the split when you pick them up, but by default, I can now plan and control them as if they were one order. Okay? So that just gives me the flexibility to now also either style or PO. Yeah. And then it would be the same if we had the client PO reference in there as well. You'd have the same functionality. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, happy with that? That gives you what you need?
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Good.
Something. All small quantities.
Yes, exactly. For those small quantities, you would just plan this one.
Orders below many orders below 100 pieces.
Yes, and that's why we developed that. Yeah.
The low level. Until you finish the shot, you get 2 years to finish it.
Yeah, he would do. Yeah.
One style.
One style. Boom.
5,000 pieces.
Yeah.
200 euro.
Yeah. And in the reports and everything, you can still either see them as one or you can see them as separate.
Easy.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So, in terms of the functionality we now have at low level, I just want to obviously go through what we would see and how we would plan. Most of the first couple of icons, they're very similar to what we have at high level. Is to be able to move and increase the date scales. So the functionality is quite similar. Okay. The key things that I probably want to show you at low level is obviously that new button that I showed you there, the consolidate strip, which you probably spend a lot of time in, and then the find function. These binoculars, they are very useful. I think that's one of the key functionalities at low level. Okay, this is the find function. So what you can effectively do within this screen here is search the entire plan for any one of these criterias. Okay, so if you want to say, if there's, you want to see all of this style that's coming from TCP, you want to find where every single one of the orders is planned. You come into here, you can do select. You find, obviously, you type in the style code if you know it. So TCP, I mean what? Remember what it was? I don't remember what it was. What's it?
CB01.
3,300.
Style.
Yeah. Yeah, 304 is an easy way to do it. Like that, I'll cheat. So yeah, if you were to type in, obviously, the style reference in there, you could then search for every single one of those orders with that same style on that planning board. Again, you can do it based on.
الايكون اللي هو نازله بيدي لك شكل لو انت هتشوف عليه.
This searches the entire plan for any one of these criteria. So you can just type in your criteria, as I was saying to Saad, and then it will search for those specific orders or strips that match your criteria. Which is also really good as well, because not only can you search by star name, product name, customer, we also have like advanced, which also gives us the, again, user-defined field. So if you wanted to find the status of a specific client PO, you just come into here, type that client PO. It goes away as it highlights all the strips that match that criteria. And then we have another tab called problems. Again, so late delivery problems, your late delivery extension problems, work in progress. You just come into here, tick the box, and just make sure you've got nothing else. So you tick late delivery problems, and then, well, according to this, all our strips are late, but it will highlight to you every single place where on your plan where you've got late delivery. So it's a very useful functionality I find, that you probably spend a lot of time in there looking for specific plan orders and their progress and where they are. Okay.
You have to come back and clear settings, otherwise you cannot see the other orders.
Yeah, it's always fun. Okay, so the next couple along we've got here, very key as well. So this one here is your typical undo button. A reload plan, sorry, that's the undo. So this one will take you back to the very last time you saved the plan. So when you very first open it, it will refresh all the changes that you've made. Whereas this one here will just undo the last change you've made. Okay, so if I was to just completely change the plan, do this, make some changes, put that there, I can use either this one to do one by one individual change, or just reload plan completely, and it just clears me back to my last clean state. Okay, then one next to it is your typical save button. You know, the old floppy disk that we still use. Save. So save your plan at the end of every session. Save, nice, clear, simple. Well, next to that is what we call the lock plan. So if you're currently making changes to it, you want to lock it down. This lock would, when you log out, it would still hold that lock. So if you don't want anyone else to make changes to it whilst you're in the progress, or you may want to go out for lunch and then come back, you hit lock plan and that will close it down until you return, and untick that, no one else will be able to make changes to it. Unless supervisors like IT, they can come in and clear that. But standard users won't be able to undo that. Next one, print planning board.
I have a question, but I don't know if it's out of the box question. It's real or not.
Go on.
Do you need to have more than one plan?
No. Sometimes we use two plans.
So when you say two plans, how do you mean? More than one plan?
2-3 plans. For example, you might want to do a scenario plan.
Yeah.
A plan not real, but the scenario one.
Okay.
Just to know whenever he received the PO from a client, sometimes he received the PO by phone or something, or the general managing director told him, okay, I want to ship this TCP 1,000 piece, 100,000 piece by end of this week. So he will make copy of this plan as a scenario plan and do his scenario, and
so
then
we have
answer the phone, and that's finished. Whether it's not a real plan, it's just a scenario.
Yeah, so we do have something that actually can give you that. So we do have what we call a what-if database, which you can create. It creates a copy of this is the existing plan, and then you can make as many changes as you want without affecting the real live plan. But if it's only if you're only doing it for one order, I would suggest you do it in. So I was just saying, we do have functionality that does what you described there, called a what if database.
Oh.
So it takes a copy of the entire database and creates an access. So it's an access database local to your machine, and then they can plan and make any changes as they need without affecting this real live plan.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think it's got a time limit of a week or so before it expires and then disappears completely. But the only thing, what I would suggest is if it's only for one order, like you're saying, then I would suggest using this actual plan to make those changes and then just undoing it. Because the what if database, obviously, it takes a bit of time to take a copy of the database and collate the data. So it's a bit resource heavy for just one order. If you're maybe saying you've received maybe 10, 15 orders and you want to, plan those, then okay, maybe you should create a what if database and then do it in there. But for one single order, it may be a bit much.
Maybe it can be handled as a speculative order, not really a confirm.
Or maybe he wants to name this plan by the end of the year. He wants to name this plan 19, plan 219, and the next plan 2020, or I just remember this because in the yard we have plan number.
Yeah. This will be understanding now, engineer checking because I understanding something else. I think he asked me two plans, means one plan for production, pressure, and high capacity. For example, capacity is normal production of the line 1,000. We're asking 1,500. Do your best, make overtime. I need this to appreciate. This is one plan.
That's
with pressure.
That's your high level plan. And in that scenario. So where you're saying that you do overtime or you do extra, that's your high level plan. Because your high level plan, you can plan as many orders as you want and overload it as far as you want to achieve whatever your plan is. Whereas this low level plan is your actual plan that you can achieve based on your current resources.
This is not reflected on the high level plan. It's the same one.
So the dates are the same and the order.
Both of the according to the capacity.
The capacities. But again, high level, you're not limited by capacity. Yeah. You can keep adding orders to the same factory and overload them as much as you want. There's no limitation on capacity. But whereas you're limited to exactly what capacity you have. You can only do X number of pieces in a day.
Yeah.
We can only do, say, 10,000 pieces in a day. In fact, this will never let you do more than 10,000 pieces in a day. Whereas high level, you can do as many as you want. You can do 1 million pieces in a day. Obviously, how you achieve that is up to you.
And he cannot plan an order here without having that order in the high level.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so coming back to
your question is already this is continuous one.
It depends on the capacity also as well. For example, we have changing two lines. He has a target at the end of the day to produce 20,000 pieces.
Yeah.
But if we change it, currently we can achieve 18,000 pieces.
Yep.
So we need to change two lines to increase the capacity of the line. We want to put a scenario for the increased capacity. If I want to reach the target, I can increase my capacity. I have to increase my capacity with 2,000 pieces per day. So two lines, I'll change them from polo line, from t-shirt line to polo line, for example. So
you change the capacity in this.
Change the capacity, but you don't want this capacity to be reflected on the actual plan because
it's not easy to change polo to shirt
from
one day. It takes at least 1 month to change because it's different steps, different work, different issue. Yeah.
An order by parachute, an order jumping something.
Also, I can't change from t-shirt to polo or polo to t-shirt in 1 or 2 days.
You received
the ship is okay.
You received the phone from McCarthy
Yeah.
saying that I need my shipment to be earlier there, to be this one.
Yes.
So you have to shift to change your production schedule.
Yes.
And you might have a phone call.
We add Bulu, like if this order is Bulu, I can't ask productions to transfer Bulu to t-shirt to Bulu. I can stop some client.
Exactly, this is what I mean. You need to answer a question by phone.
Yeah, this is another. Yes, this is.
He needs to answer a question by phone for a specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so he have to make some changes to the plan, to the capacity or something. And then he answered the phone based on the data he will see. Okay, I can jump. If I switch it, this order, McCarthy order to be shipped this week, it will reflect all the others.
Yeah.
And he will answer the phone and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It return back to the original plan.
So yeah, that's what the reload plan does really. You can obviously you can make all your changes to achieve that, see if it's achievable, answer the phone, say yes, no, and then just reload back to the last saved position.
And all other people in other departments seeing the plan, they will see the latest situation.
They would only see the saved position. So anyone else that opens the plan doesn't see the changes he's making. They only see the saved position, the true plan. So until we click save, it won't reflect to anybody else.
But you could make only one scenario plan. What scenario? With this sort of reload, it's one scenario, so he can change his mind. Change whatever the situation and make one scenario. One scenario is enough for him.
Okay, so if you really do want to make those big changes then to capacities and things like that, then like I said, we can create the what if database then, that separate database that that you can play around with, make the changes in, and then go back into live without affecting.
Another question. This is in terms of, I'm thinking of a plan number for a future. I'm not. We'll be very happy implementing the system at the beginning, but I'm talking after a year. We want to know what's the percentage of achievement of plan 29.
Plan versus actual.
Plan versus actual for year 2019.
We have that. So what we do
for a year.
For
a specific year.
For a specific, so we can save up to say 2 plans. So you save. Say 2 plans, you have 2 place orders for plans, and then you can save an entire period for up to, I think it may be a year going backwards in the past, and then 2 in the future. Okay, so you can save that entire period as a place order, and then you can report. We can create a report that looks at that saved period, how many pieces you plan to make, and then using the production updates that you've passed us, we can compare the 2, and then say, okay, this is what we planned to make in 2019, but here's what we actually made in 2019. So we can provide you that information based on
comparison between the actual and
planned, based on what you've planned.
And actual.
Yes.
Per year is there.
Yes.
دي بتسيب اوردرات لحد كام سنه؟ دي يعني
مفتوح.
الاوردرات من 5 سنين موجوده.
انا اقصد انت طبقت البلاننج سنتين.
هو سنه بس.
سنتين.
Sure.
نسبة
هو كده مش سايب 1
بس انا سألت تقدر تجيب تقريب نسبة تحقيق الخطة في 2019 في 2020 قال لك ممكن في خلال فترة.
ما هو 1 year.
وانا
انت الاي ار بي عندك بالست
اما انت مفتوحة لانك بتاريخ الاوردر وجايز هم بيعملوها هنا بتاريخ الاوردر برضه فهي مفتوحة.
So I'll just show you. So effectively, what we're doing here is, so I've clicked on the save forward plan. So you could only really do it from say today and then going forward. Okay. So you'd select how far in the future or how far you've planned for. So look from today into the end of the year, for example. So we'll just tell it to say to the end of 2019, and then it will store everything in that every piece of every plan and every strip in its current position of how it's been planned into the database, and then we can use then at the end of the year we can come back and then use those figures to compare what's been done and what hasn't been done.
You can use this functionality in any interval you want.
Yes.
Whether you want to compare your planned versus your actual weekly or monthly, this is up to you.
It's a period.
Yes. It's any interval you want.
Yeah. So what I would suggest, because we can save up to two different series at the same time. So you would have maybe one that you do at the start of the year. So you plan everything high level start of the year. You save it. And then, so you can compare at the end of the year. And then maybe the second series you would use on a week-by-week basis or month-by-month basis to keep your running total of your plan versus actual. So you would have it those two ways.
And in this example, you can see you have only the factories that you have in this board. This is Kazarin board. So in here, you will have only the group Kazarin, Fayoum, Menofia, and EU work.
Yes.
You can select which ones you want to analyze.
But we will never come to a situation where there are two planners, each of them has his own plan.
What you mean?
I mean, a specific resources like, for example, the day house resources. In the future, you will have an assistant, a strong assistant. You'll get him, you plan for the polo shirt line, and this, another one will plan for the t-shirt line and one for the polo shirt line.
Always one planner, hopefully.
Polo and the t-shirt.
Always one planner, yes, I agree. There should always be one planner.
One planner.
To see the entire planner.
Sewing is planner.
Because
you can use two planners, one for fabric and one for sewing, but the sewing is only one is fabric. So
because there'll be too many conflicts. One person does this, one person does that, and you may cause too many conflicts.
It's one resource.
Yeah, so it should always be one resource, yes. One person.
I'm just thinking of all the questions that might...
Yeah, that's the IT brain of you.
that might we face after you leave. So
yes, it's true. It's very true. It's very true. I agree.
Continuing all the icons at the top.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you're happy with that save plan, aren't you? So yeah, I'll also show you how to create a what if database as well afterwards, but once we've got into the whole plan. Okay. And then, so we want to have a really good function I really enjoy, is what we call the score manager. Okay, so let's make sure that's correct. Apologies. Scoring based on all. So what this does is give you the current statistics based on your plan, on what you've saved, of how many orders are late, how many of your pieces are late, percentage of orders on time. Yeah, currently you've only got 14%, very bad. You need to improve this. But it gives you a running total of all the key statistics just based on your current plan, all the things that you may want to monitor. So it's something always to keep into mind, and then give you targets to aim for, so you can tell how efficiently you're currently planning based on what you're doing today. Very good. Okay, so now I want to show you these. All these, here we go. So next icon's here, the pull forward. What this will do is, say if you've got gaps in your plan, you have loads of gaps, because that's always what we say is gaps in plans are bad, because gaps in a plan means free capacity, and we all know we don't have free capacity. We're always working constantly. So wherever you may have that orders have gone, you've left spaces in your gaps, a quick way to always adjust those gaps, or maybe you've readjusted your plan and you push something out. For example, on this one here, let's remove our consolidation. So for example, if we had like these gaps, like we said, we don't want to have gaps in our plan. We have this nice little function called pull forward. You say entire plan. And a quick, nice and easy to make sure we adjust everything. Just to close up the gaps, nice and simple. To close gaps, making sure that everything is in the line, and then we can quickly readjust our plan. Okay, so have you got yourself logged in?
Yes, I know.
So now what we're going to try and do is plan some more orders at high level. If I take this out, and then we plug yourself in. Okay, so instead of Constable, if you use your username, which is your first name and last name as the username. So no, so I've already created you one. No, so I've created you yourself. You've got your own user now, so you don't need to log into Hash anymore. So yeah, first name and last name. No space. So it's just third one is. And then password. No, so not Constable, just the word password. So that was in password PASSW0RD. And also, I think, I remember if I put it first name. Okay. So it's silence. So it's. Okay. You already logged in? Who's logged in? Give me a second. It says you're already logged in. I don't know who's. I think I might have used it to test. Tools. Okay. Try again. Log on. Yeah, okay, good. Okay. So yeah, if you now go to okay, we should have some more orders in there for you to plan. So if you go through the process, otherwise, you can make that smaller. There we go. So you see more of the plan.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and on that header, you can change it by, you can change the layout
Into
mountains or whatever.
Yeah, so you can, so it's this one, go to, you can change the scale. So you can either make it smaller, bigger, and then go to the left. The one left, sorry.
Small, bigger means in terms of.
It's 2 minutes out of the.
So yeah, you can see more. So keep going and seeing more and more months.
But still, it's in days.
Yes, it will always be days. Yes.
Days.
Yeah.
Oh.
This week, huh? This week, this date.
Yeah.
ده من 16 ل 23 ده week.
Week number, yeah. That's day per day.
Okay, so if we go to our acceptor list and see what we've got in there.
Okay.
Into the acceptor list, so we can start planning some orders. So is that one there? That little one there? Okay. Okay, so yeah, just take some orders. Yep, accept. Yeah, and now we go into our load list. Get the little finger, that's one. There we go. Load orders, there we go.
Yeah.
And now we can start dropping them onto our rows. Just say where we want to plan them. So does that look right? How big is that order? Would you have one line doing that? No. This is the one where we had the critical path problem, isn't it? That's why it's orange, because yeah, we've not completed, if you remember, we've not completed our pre-production events on this on this order. So it'll always be orange. And now it's too late. So you've got a very limited time window to get this done.
This is order, this is fabric order.
That's probably right. So yeah, you've got a very limited time window on that. Okay, so because we've not got many orders.
Remove this one.
So to remove, you want to remove this? So to remove that order.
If I press delete, will be delete or must.
No, yeah. So if you right click on the order. Okay, just click that. I see if you unpress that. So you click that. Just click that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so click on it, and then now. All right. So click on it once. Sorry. Just to undo. Okay. Yeah. Now if you right click on the order. A right click. So you get the menu option. There we go. Now you see you have the unload strip. So you want to remove it? There you go.
Yeah.
So now it's gone back to in that load list. Okay?
We'll take alpha. Alpha is okay.
So you want it or you don't want it?
No, I don't want.
You don't want it. Okay, so there you go. So you would so this is another reason why we have that accept list. So even before you get accepted to your plan, you can reject it and say, no, I don't need it in my plan, and I don't want to worry about it. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually let's go to our high level board. Let's load some more orders on so we can actually plan at low level. Yeah, you're going to need to close this, apologies. So you just close the low level board first. Yep, that's it. And yeah, we can save it. Yeah. And high level, yeah. And one thing to note is now you see all these, this colored icon down here, that effectively means we've planned it at low level. So we can, all these, if you try and click on any one of these, it'll tell you no, you can't move it now because you've already accepted it.
Yeah.
You no longer have control of it now. Okay? So if we again go to our load list. No, so in high level, in high level. Just go to the load. So we can load some more orders.
The finger.
The finger, yeah. Okay, so if you find some TCP orders or some new orders so we can plan.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so you need to assign it to a factory. You're going to need it to phone, okay?
This order.
Yeah.
The green one is now.
Yes, so that's the that's the load. So we're well within our capacity. There you go. There's the order. So you can either make it bigger or smaller to spread out the load. There we go.
Okay.
You can move this by here, just get careful. So just click on it again.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Zing, gasoline or fire? I can't see. Okay, so just double click on it. Yeah, so click on it again. Single click. Yeah. So no, single click. So just click on it again. And then move your mouse down at the bottom. Just click, don't drag, just move your mouse. Where's it not moving? Try again. So don't hold it down. Just click on it once. Click once, and then move your mouse. Without dragging, just move it.
Don't hold.
You don't need to hold it. You just move your mouse. There we go.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you
Okay.
Yep. See, it's already blue because I imagine the delivery date sometime in the past. So if you right click on that, if you do a right click, there we go. You can do order details. Okay, so that's why it's already blue because, well, delivery date is today. So we've almost got no chance to do it. So
Make the delivery date after a week, for example.
So yeah, if you were to change the delivery date on that, so we have something realistic. So sometime when you can actually achieve it.
Yeah, there were up 30,000 pieces.
Yeah.
So you might need a couple of weeks
To get it done and ship it. Yeah, update. There we go.
So you use this?
Yeah, you can close it. Yeah, so you've already updated, haven't you? So yeah. So close. Yeah, okay, so now it's grey again because we've given ourselves enough time to complete the order. Okay? Okay, so now if you save that, and then we now go back down to our low level, so we can try and plan this on the teams. So yeah, if we close. Yeah, and Kazarine. Again, so if we go to accept the order, now that it's been moved down, so this one. Yeah, that's it. Well done. Okay, and then yeah, just accept it. Okay, just highlight it first. Yeah. Beautiful. And then now into our load. Yeah, that's it. So you should go into load list again. You're correct. That's the one. So it's the second one.
TCP.
Yeah, and then just load order. Okay, so now if we now find, where is it? Fame. There we go.
Team 1.
Why is it late already? Okay, because we're already on the 6th, aren't we? So if we bring it back.
What's it?
So because see if we're already on the 6th of June, so if we move it back, so we're on time.
Sure, then it's easier to.
Is that the correct one? Is that the one we planned? I don't think so, is it?
We put it in Kazarina.
Sorry?
We put it in Kazarina.
Did you put it in Kazarine?
We put it in Kazarina.
No, it shouldn't be late. No. Just double check the delivery date. So again, if you right click, so yeah, just place it down. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, and your order details. I think that's a different order, but okay. Cool. 17th of June.
Yeah, it's different quantity as 20.
Yeah.
It's another order.
Big one.
The order that you just load in the system, they will have 30,000 pieces.
Don't know.
It's another order, it's not this one.
Okay.
Maybe.
We're cheating.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay.
So we can divide also. And
Yeah, so again, if you want to divide it, just if you move your mouse to where you want to divide it, so place it down, okay? So say if you want to divide it there, so it's a week, so place your mouse there, right click, There we go. And you see where it says split quantity. So it's tell you, so currently you're saying split quantity with 4,000 pieces remaining on this line, and then 23,000 pieces you'll pick up. Okay, that's what that's telling you. So if you split, there you go. So that's, you picked up the 4,000 pieces and it drops 23,000. And then yeah, same again. There we go. Another way of also looking at it is if you put it down again and just put your mouse, hover it, put your mouse over it, and then if you look down there, you can also see this split there. So you can see the total number. You can see the total number of pieces on that strip, and then you can see where you've placed your mouse. So yeah, it's the same numbers there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're all on time. Sorry?
We must divide it equal quantity from the beginning.
So you would want to divide it equally.
Equally.
Okay. So if you wanted to divide it,
Why it chose 4,000 pieces, for example, from the beginning?
because that was where you place your mouse, it will always choose by where you place your mouse to split.
The days.
Yeah. So if you right click on one of the strips again, so if you just go on right click, and then if you specify the quantity instead of split, so this one, yep, you can actually tell the exact quantity you want to move on to the next line, okay? So you would say 1,000 pieces or 2,000 pieces, and then you could split it evenly based on what you say. The first one just does it wherever you place your mouse, and then splits, okay?
So if we save this one,
Yep, so
this must be approved by high level.
So yeah, once you've now saved that, yeah, high level can no longer change it anymore. It's on low level now, so you have accepted it. Okay? So therefore, it's no longer usable on, you can no longer make changes at high level to that order. You can just see the load it's going to place on your factories at high level now. Good?
All those little clear spaces between one strip and another is free capacity. It means you are not planning those in that Saturday.
Yes.
So you would want to move it, yeah. So that's a valid point. So you always want to try and move them so that, yeah. Yeah. So you just drop it again. So you're closing up the space.
Maybe you can use that icon to put all the strips together. Like.
Yeah, so as I was showing you earlier, it's the one to move it forward for you. So if you drop it again, drop it first. Yeah, and then click on that. Pull forward, and then you could just do, I was say entire plan. Yeah, save and apply. Okay, so now if you just click on the line, there we go, and just do it all first, there we go. So nice and easy. And you could even do that so you can get it to the start today as well. So all you have to do is just put your mouse there, and it will move to wherever you place your mouse. There we go, see?
You don't want to plan in the yellow part, because the yellow part is the past. Already passed. So you...
So now you'll have to pick it up and move it manually. So now if you just click on that again. So if you click on the icon, sorry. And then just completely clear it. Just close. Close, sorry. Oh, keep pointing up here, sorry. Just, yeah, there you go. Now you can place it back. There we go. Okay, so now that we've placed the plan on the, now we've placed orders on the plan, the next sort of thing to be looking at is what this means in terms of the load for our other operations, okay? So things like cutting, ironing, sorting, what happens to those? So to obviously do that again, we similar to the high level, we look at the bar charts. So if we click on this icon here, there we go. It should make the window bigger slightly. Yeah, and just bring it down. Yeah.
At the bottom, the corner.
So if you keep going. There we go. So now we can see it. Okay. So if you just click at the top here, so this is again, this is our groups, so our factories, so we can see which load we're placing on which factory. So if you just click on that drop down there, and then now you see the list of things you can select on. You want to go to Kazari, yeah, okay. Okay, now we can see what we're looking at here is the Kazarine and the cut room load. So at the moment, we're very underloaded in cutting. We're saying that based on our current plan in the background, we have lots of capacity left over in our cutting room. We have very high capacity. So the cutting people are going to be looking for things to do. They're going to be coming to you saying, why haven't we got any work to do? Can you give us some work to do? So from here, you can actually monitor what you're doing to your cutting room, and you can say, you know, okay, you've got not a lot of work.
Start according to what we are paid in the sewing.
Yes. So the sewing is your driving factor. So you're saying that based on what I've planned in my sewing, this is what I will need in my cutting room. Yeah. So you can also see for the other operations as well. So same again, so if you go click on this drop down here. So you also see you've got sorting, ironing, packing. So you can go to ironing and packing. So you look at pack. Okay, so we've got some there. So if you want to move into the future, you can just use this arrow there. There we go, and it'll move along. So you'll see at the bottom, these are the weeks going along. Okay, so that's week commencing 21st, actually no, sorry, tell a lie. This is days, because we're doing plan per day. So this is your daily plan. You can also change, if you click on that one, yeah, you can change it to weekly. So yeah, you can see plan per week, plan per month, depending on what you want. So what month is that? Plan per week. So again, plan for the week commencing the 23rd of the 5th. Again, we're very under capacity, less than 10%. Yeah. So there should be lots of capacity in our cutting room. Okay. And then if you double click on, let's say, this blue bit, you can then see all the orders that should be cutting on that day. So we're saying that based on our sewing plan, we should have all these different styles and orders being cut, ready to feed into. If you expand that just ever so slightly, if you made that column bigger for me. There we go. So you'll be able to see the team that it requires to get that cutting. So how much we need to cut? Yeah. 728 pieces to feed to team 11. Yeah. So it'll give them the schedule of when they need to do it by, and what days, and how much they need to cut to make sure that we're meeting our sewing plan. Yeah? So yeah, this will obviously make sure that we're on target and everyone's doing what they need to do to make sure sewing is running efficiently and on time, and then we get the orders out on time when we need them. Good. Okay. So if you close it, you can close this down now.
Can I close it?
Yep, you can close it. Okay. So that's one way of looking at the load on the cutting group and the secondary operations. So that gives us our global capacity.
Does it show the board to fill the capacity or the line?
Yes.
Everything is already related.
Yeah, basically on the sewing.
Yeah, printing, packing, ironing, cutting.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So another way we can look at that information in a different way is if you want to look at it for one order, you right click on the order for me. Yeah. Okay. So what we can now on order details, so close. Just close this down and right click on the And if we go to where's it going? I always miss it. Alright, there you go. Plan schedule. So now from here, we can actually see quite a few things from here. We can see what we're planning in our sewing. So by day, quantity, what we plan on doing. So 600 on the 18th, 728 on the 19th. We can see all the different.
This is a production plan.
Yes, production by day, cumulatively
For this line.
for this line and that order that we've selected.
Yes.
Okay? And then here we can also change, if we change that to preparation schedule, yeah, this is also when we need to start it. So if you note that on the production day, we were saying we were starting on the 18th, but preparation, which is our cutting, needs to be done by the 15th, which is 3 days before, based on, if you remember the group capacity, we said that in between each operation, we have 1 day of standing time. So we accumulating that to give us, let's say on the 15th, we need to have our cutting sorted and done. Okay? So all this information is it's lots of information to show you when you need to do things by, how you need to do it, how many you need to do, and then obviously we can send these in daily reports to the cutting room. So based on my sewing plan, here's all the orders that I need to cut for my cutting room to make sure I'm feeding my sewing lines constantly with the right fabrics and the right materials. Good? Okay. So yeah, close that down again. Okay, so what we've been looking at so far is all of this is the order rotation, yes? This is all based on making sure the deliveries are on time. So all our colors, so blue, dark blue, saying we're late, gray, we're on time. That's just the standard default, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so you can also change this so it looks at different criteria, okay? So if you go to this icon here, you see the little arrow next to it, the drop down? So if you just, yeah. Now you see we have many different options, okay? And what each one of these will do will change the colors and what we can see on the board. So different information for the different strips. So if you click on that one, I think you've already, the products/order.
Already click on it.
Yeah, okay, so you've already clicked on that one. So you see this bit here has changed. So now you no longer see the order code, but you see the style code.
Yes.
Yeah? You can see the style code and the description of that style in this window.
Yes.
So now you can actually see who's planning what where, and what styles. Are we continuing the same styles, or are we doing different styles constantly? Yeah? Looks good? And if we go back to that again, and you have another view, products. So if you go back again, drop down. The products, that one. So okay, so you see that, doing that has got rid of the blue completely. It's all grey now. But what that means is, because it's all grey because we haven't set up any colours. But what you could do is you could set up for each style, you could give it its own colour. So that way you can easily recognise which styles are being planned where, and making sure all the same styles are planned together if you want to associate a colour to the style. Okay. Okay, so we should go through the other one as well. So let's go through, there's quite a few. The next one that's pretty useful would be customer. Okay, so you can see all our customers that are planned. So you can make sure that you're planning all your TCPs on one line, maybe your Levi's on another line, and so on and so forth. So make sure that you're grouping all your orders together and you're planning the same customer together. Make sure we're getting their deliveries on time. So if you can plan by customer this way as well. Okay? And then let's see what else we've got here. That would be useful. And the last one that's really important is the materials. This is where the material colors come into play. Okay? So at the moment it's all grey because we haven't been able to import the bill of materials correctly just yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to do that manually. So we're going to add the bill of materials to a style manually so we can see some colors. Okay? So what I want you to do is let's take an order, the TCP, right click on that. And I want you to go to the product details. Okay? So this is our style. Now what I want you to do next is go to our materials tab. And then we just click on this arrow here. Okay, so this is our entire material library. Okay? what we're going to do is we're going to manually select a material from this list and associate it to our product, so then we can calculate some material requirements. Obviously, this bit you wouldn't have to do because Shorefully Shepherd will have the interfaces sorted, so they'll automatically come from the ERP into Evolve. But now we're just going to do it manually, just to so you can play around with it and understand what's going.
Yeah.
So,
but the materials you're using is a fabric and accessories.
yes, fabric and accessories. They should all be in here. So I don't. If you know a fabric code, I don't know, a very common fabric code. You can
Which code of fabric?
They should all be fabric and materials. Do you know one off by heart?
Fabric?
Yeah. Do you know fabric? Yeah. So if you type that in there. No, I mean, do you know the code?
No.
No. Okay. So then leave it then. Okay. So we can just get rid of that. So just click on the drop down again. There we go. So yeah, just pick any one, just for this example. Yeah, just drag it. There we go, and just drop it into the top. Sorry, drag, and then drop here at the top. Where it says specification.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, and then in the usage, we associate how much does the average t-shirt require? One t-shirt. How much fabric do you require?
1, 3, 4.
So yeah, just enter that into there. Okay. Okay. And then just click update. Good. Okay, so now we've associated this fabric to this style, and then we're saying that it's good. One piece would require 4 kg or 4 grams, whatever it may be.
1 kg makes 4 pieces.
Okay. Okay. So if we just close that, and we hit. So now what we're going to do is go to our materials at the top, and then you're going to hit calculation. This is going to calculate our MRP. It tells it to go look at my order requirements and then look at my how many materials I have in stock and work out which materials I need to order. Okay? And as you can see, the colors have changed. All of these now are now red, 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 red. And what red means is we don't have it in stock, no fabric. Because based on what we've again imported into the system, we're saying that we don't have any fabric. So if you right click on
Why is gray?
Grey, because grey doesn't have any bill of materials. So you know what we've just done where we added the bill of materials to the style. These ones don't have any. So if you ever see grey, that means the bill of materials is empty. So the system doesn't know what you need.
Here is all the color reference for you to, these 4 materials.
Yeah. So those are for materials, yeah. Okay. So if we right click on one of these red strips, and then we go to material details. See? So this is telling us how many we require, and then what our shortfall is. Okay? So if you can expand that down as well. So if you click on the little plus next to the material code, it tells you exactly how many you're going to need on what day and in what location. Okay, so yours will always say Kazarine because it's always in Kazarine that you require it in, but you can see specifically how much you need to purchase and how much you're going to need per day. Okay? Which is always very useful. So if we had some in stock, you would see the stock numbers here, and then that'll tell you if it's okay or not. And then if we had some on delivery, like like we said yesterday, we were discussing the material POs. If you'd inputted the material PO and told it when it was going to come in on, you would have in this delivery column the dates that was on that material purchase order. So you would know that, okay, I don't have it in stock today, but it's coming into stock tomorrow, so I'm okay.
But the system will be planned according to the date of receiving.
Yes, receiving the fabric.
Yeah, even don't record any stock.
So it receipts into stores, yes.
Planned to receive next week, Saturday.
Yep.
So we will plan according to this one.
Yes, on next week Saturday.
If we didn't make in store this
Yes, yeah. If you're purchasing externally, yes.
He will buy it. He will pay from the delivery. If we don't refresh the store, this one from this.
Then you'll see that. Yeah.
You will see delivery.
Yes. So we'll see all. So if it's sent again, if you send it from ERP, we'll see it here.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will see what you have in store, what you're going to have in store, and what you need to have in store. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So you can also do the reverse of this. So you see at the top. So this, what we're doing now, is looking at all the materials required for this order.
Yes.
But what you can do is if you go to query material at the top, you can do it specifically for one fabric. So you can select in this list here. So if you click the drop down, see it will give you all the materials, and you can select a material, and then you can see where all the requirements are. So you can then expand and then see which orders require which materials and when. So if you click on, let's say the expansion there, you see, and then it will tell you the order code and the style that needs this material and what date it needs it. So you have two ways of looking at it. You can look at it by order or by material. Okay? Yeah, so we can close that down. So what we're going to suggest now is if we try and receipt. Let's go, so if we go to our materials, actually, wait a second. So if we go back to the order again, I just want to check what material it is. Right click on and material details. Okay, so it's the 06 TT CAS 58. Okay. So if we close that down, I'll just make a note of that. And go to our materials. Okay, and then material stock, yeah. And then we select in there the material reference. Yeah, the first one. Okay, so we're gonna manually adjust the stock levels just so you can see what it looks like on the planning board. So if we just give it a new stock quantity of, let's say, 10,000 pieces or something. Update. Okay, close that down. And again, you just need to go to the materials and then do the calculation again. So to recalculate system. Okay, we must have not been enough. So just right click on that. Material details. Just there. So you see, that stock number, we now have that in stock. But it's still not enough to satisfy the big demand because we have a lot of demand for it. The demand number is still bigger than what we have, but you can now see how much we have in stock. And this is what you would see if you had enough. Okay?
You will not need to do this by hand, manually.
No.
This will come from the file, from the data from the ERP.
Insert it to the ERP manual.
Yes.
You don't need to worry about this. This is what Sheikh is showing you how to do it manually, but ideally you will not need to do that.
Yeah, it's done. It's easy, but we'll take more time.
Yeah.
The system will make it TCB, the construction standards, fabric, short sleeve, 1 kg makes 5 pieces. The long sleeve, 4 pieces. It will be all the orders long sleeve will filter and they get the construction. It will be easy in the ERP.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah. Good.
اهلا بيك. طب استاذنك كان انا هطلع لهم في 5 دقايق مش مصر.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to.
No, so you just just close that down. Okay.
احنا بنتكلم عن الماتيريالز وورينا ازاي الماتيريالز الاوردر بعد ما انت قاعد معانا نقطع الاوردر ده دخل على موضوع الماتيريالز كان بيقول لي كمان الماتيريال دي هتبقى موجوده من ERP.
تمام.
الكونستراكشن مثلا بتاع الفابريك والاكسسوارز.
تمام.
وهو يحس هيقرا على طول مش هتتعمل من هنا.
تمام. يعني اتكلمتوا في تفاصيل الماتيريال عشان ليها علاقه بالمخازن.
ولو انت عملت
هي ده الاوبشن اللي انت واقف عليه ده بس.
لا مش مهم. يعني ممكن نيجي هنا مثلا ماتيريالز ديتيلز، مش يبين لك الاوردر ده خامات ايه. المسألة دي انا كاتبها في الستوك عنده دلوقتي، واخد بالك؟ فانت زي بتكتب الستوك 5000 دي الاي ار بي هيبقى موجود فيها الكونسامشن اللي موجود فيه في الستوك. المفروض يكون حاسس بقى الاوردرات في المخزن كذا.
Okay.
معلش can you give engineer Shaker
A hint about the material.
Yeah, so
just 5 minutes for talking.
yeah, okay, that's no problem. So what we're looking at now is a completely different rotation of the planning board colors. So usually you'd see everything by delivery, you know, where we have that blue, light blue to show whether we're on time or not. But now we've changed it to our material view, and our material view changes the colors slightly. So you can actually see there it says materials to tell you that you're looking at the material colors. So what we can see here is all these red strips. And that, as we know, red is always bad. Red means bad because we don't have these materials in stock. So we have a material on this order that hasn't been, that doesn't fulfill our requirements. These grey ones here are just where the bill of materials has not been populated on the style. So system doesn't know what colour to give it because we can't give it. There's no materials against it. Okay. So if you just right click again and show, so we can show engineer checker the material details. Yeah. Okay. So we've clicked on that order, and what that's done is tell us that for this order, TCP, we require this fabric. Okay. In this quantity. So almost 150,000 pieces, that's a lot. And then this is telling us we need to purchase this amount because we've only got this amount in stock. This stock number does not fulfill our requirements in here. So we have a massive shortfall that we need to procure. Okay? If we did have some deliveries en route, you know where we were discussing yesterday about creating the MPOs and adding those to system to show when we have delivery of materials coming in. If we did, in this column here, you would have the delivery date of the materials, and then you would be able to see that, okay, yes, I don't have any stock, however, I have a delivery coming in tomorrow, so I should be able to satisfy that demand. It also shows here the PR reference of that material purchase order in case you wanted to follow up on any requirements and any details. So this is what we see by for the requirements for our order. We also have the reverse of this, whereby you can see by the material. So if you just click on that first, and then just select our material. It's the first one, yeah. So this is showing us the opposite direction, where we select the material first, and then it will tell us all the requirements, all the order requirements, or all the orders that require this one fabric. Okay, so it will show us a day-by-day breakdown of the orders, and when they require, how much we need by day. So if you just
this is required per order.
So all the orders that require this material.
Yeah.
So currently we only have one order that requires it, but if we had more orders that required the same fabric, you would see them as well.
Yeah.
So it just gives them it tells you what days specifically those orders need to have the material in by, so we can satisfy our sewing plan. Okay?
Okay. So this, in order to have this effective, we have to have an updated stock balance.
Updated stock, material deliveries, and bill of materials.
Bill of material.
Yeah.
And procurement.
Yes. To make sure that all these colors make sense to the planner.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So the planner knows when they can do, you know, plan certain orders.
واحد متخصص، واحد سيبريت لوحده خالص، وعنده شغل بعيد خالص عن كل الأقسام. يجي مثلا نديله اللي متأكتف في الخدمات، يأكتف على السيستم ده تظهر بعد ما انا عندي بتابع يوم شغلي اساسا عارف ايه اللي له واللي ملوش.
طب احنا نقدر نقول
ويأكتف الاكسسوارات يقعد معاك شويه عشان انت برضه شويه ادخل اوردر على السيستم واعمل الكلام ده. انت الموضوع محتاج واحد اسمه متخصص في البيانات فاست رياكت يقول لي يقعد معايا مثلا كل يوم كل يومين كل ثلاثه حسب ما احنا نتفق يقول لي ايه القدرات اللي لها ماشي ماشي وياخد لي اكتف من ده ويروح بقى الاكسسوار مخزن الاكسسوار يعرف كل ليست الاوردرات اللي معانا ديت ايه اللي له اكسسوار ايه واللي ملوش وايه اللي واقف واللي مش واقف. كل شغلانته ان هو الكتنج داتا والفاست رياكت والماتيريالز واي داتا ناقصها اديله سوري مفيش مش هديله ضغط بس مش امتى عشان يبقى ده اكل افكتيف. ممكن يبقى الشخص اللي تبعه ممكن يبقى تبعه
هو يبقى تبعك احسن تبع بلاننج احسن مش عايز اخليه تبع
مش انا مش مظبوط الشخص اللي مش مفيش عندي غير الشخص اللي هو بيطلع في المعلومات ولا يقول لك ده احسن يعني احسن مش
لا ممكن اقنعني اجيب لك
اصل انا عارف ممكن تعمل او ممكن نخليه تبع المخازن بس المخازن بيعمل الاوردرات والاكسسوارات موجوده ولا انت ايه رايك؟
انا اعتقد هو تخطيط اكتر واحد عشان يبقى حريص ينجح الدنيا.
السيستم هيحس بقى ازاي؟ هتسجلها على يعرف دي ازاي؟
انا هعمل لك
يا اما بقى تتعمل ايه؟
هعمل لك مخزن اسمه مخزن الفاست
هيبقى في ايه؟
هيبقى في الاصناف بتاعته هي اصناف البوليت ماتيريال اللي موجوده في اللي بتطلعها كل صنف اللي بنفكر فيه
المخزن ذاكر لازم ما تنساش المخازن المخازن حاليا ده مش مخزن مستقل تستخدم المخازن الموجوده
ما تستخدم المخازن الموجوده عشان تعمل الوكيشن للاوردر بالمخزن بس انتهى عشان تغير كود المخزن دلوقتي انتهى. خلينا نفكر فيها مع بعض.
So let's have a quick review of what we've gone through so far.
What shake
Yep.
might be good to go might be the right clicking here to manually handling the variable capacities in here.
Yes,
the raw
very
information
yeah.
all of that. Because you already went through all the icons of the chart.
Yeah.
And then just the functionalities of the behind the right click here at a row level.
Yep. Yeah.
And then after lunch, just one by one through the right click functionalities at the order level, at the strip level.
Yeah.
Because well, it will explain all of the rest.
Yeah, because we've already done quite a few reviews anyway.
We have done a lot of progress in this morning.
Yeah. Oh, freezing. It's a breeze. Okay, so if we just have a quick look at go over what we've done. We have done done pretty much on the first page, haven't we?
Yeah, just at the raw level, raw information, and how to handle that. For him to understand how to read that.
I'm just thinking we've missed the operation routes,
Can
the
you
work
click?
content.
Can you click on here, on the image, so you get rid of that window that is floating around, because that's like a that will show you in case you have a picture or photo of the product that you're producing.
We see it in the image.
It will show in there, but we don't have that functionality,
No,
so
okay.
it will not show you anything, just a blank
Thank you all.
window.
No.
So you just need to click in there,
Excellent. So that's good.
and that's it.
So we're going to go through. Not gone through.
So all of that right click information about every line
Yeah.
is what Sheikh is going to explain to you next, how to use that area,
Yeah.
how to manipulate all the capacities.
Can change capacity and delete or insert lines.
You can insert lines, no, from here, but you can change the amount of workers that you have in the line from here, or you can view that information. You can adjust. For example, you have 26 workers per line, right?
Yeah.
And if you have less or more, you can adjust from here.
Was the detective will give add production or the product team? If I increase to 65 workers.
Yeah, you can do
You
it from
can
here.
change.
You can adjust from here, yes. You can change it there. If you go to the right click at the street level, it has hundreds of things to show in there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
ممكن تعمل حاجة ظريفة أوي في نفس النعمة. ممكن تعمل حاجة بسيطة أوي. عملت كده. كل الأوردرات الفابريك بتاعها الفابريك نعمل اتنين كده نغير بقى اتنين صغيرين كده ونشتري دي اكسسوري على كل اوردر ماشي أو ممكن نعملها بالنسبة اوكي أنا عندي بقى أدي المعدات دي على السيستم لو اوريدي موجود نعمل اوكي موجود مش نفس الحكاية لو مش موجود هنكتب تاريخ الوصول حلو اس بي كل اسبوعين
ابديت
عندها ابديت.
طب هل هو
سهل بقى لما يبقى الفابريك يخش على بدل ما يخش المخازن عندك بقى ويدور وهتبقى في مشاكل ومفيش كونكتد ده اوردر وده اوردر ده اوردر فابريك وده اوردر جارمنت مفيش رابط. هو مجرد ما نلاقي اوكي سكيورد او افيلابل
عايز نعيش الماشي
انا عايش انا وانت الاول وبعد كده جيت تطور
دي بيرفكت
نعمل له ما دام هو كلمه افيلابل يبقى خلاص يبقى كل سولد يبقى الفابريك اوكي
بيرفكت
والاكسسوار نفس الحكايه السوق يدخل يعملها معايا بس هو اللي يبقى عارف الاوردر ده لو هو مكتوب كلمه افيلابل او نعمل ايه اي في اوكي. طب لو هو مش موجود هنسيبه فاضي مش لازم في حاجه
هيكتب تاريخ متوقع
مش بس سيبك من التاريخ متوقع ده مش هيعرف يكتب تاريخ سيبه نسيب التاريخ ولا ايه؟
هو طيب
نعمل ايه؟
ناخدها
صح نعمل ايه بقى؟ يبقى لازم نحط التاريخ اوتوماتيك ما تحطش التاريخ من عندنا هو السيستم اللي يحط التاريخ اللي انا عايزه يبقى موجود
بناء
عشان احمل لك الخطوط بتاعتك ويقدر تشحن كده يديلك تاريخ اوتوماتيك مع بعض ان لما جه لما تعمل له افيلابل يبقى خلاص هو سكيورد لو ما جاش يفضل يعمل لك يطلع لك علامات حمراء عندك على السيستم.
طيب شيخ كده
كده هيحل مشاكل المخازن دي.
whenever you are free.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Whenever you are free.
Yeah, so go ahead.
There is, I guess this is a smart idea coming from the heads. Here the heads of the
Yeah.
for the material,
Yes.
because we will face some problems, especially with the fabric,
Okay.
because we have for that specific order, we have for the work order number, that work order number TCP 01 you appear sometimes from the sewing. It's not linked to the same work order in the fabric store. In the fabric store, they plan with a huge bulk work order, fabric work order, TCP fabric, all of them, all the
Okay.
fabric on TCP fabric. And then they divide it into manufacturing work orders starting from fabric. So we guess we will find some difficulty in the stores. What Engineer Saad is suggesting is to have some column or something beside each order named fabric. Okay, fabric. If it's okay, we will just write down.
On our ERP.
We will export this.
Okay.
We'll export this. We will assign someone to review every week the specific orders with the planning, and to know if the fabric is available. He will write, okay, fabric available, accessories available. So 2 additional columns, we can get them from.
So when you say fabric, so I'm trying to understand. So fabric means that the
every day we will
Update.
Update the fabric received and fabric out from line to the orders on the ERP. When we make refresh in time, these orders we feel it's okay.
So what you're saying is that you do only use Evolve to calculate your requirements? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, Evolve will calculate the requirement, no problem.
With the dates, so when it's required?
Yeah, with the date when it's required.
And then, so in the ERP, you would update that to say,
Received or not.
Received or not.
Yeah.
He will use this information from the ERP to build the blend. Okay, save it. So the red colors will be changed to gray.
To green.
To green.
To green.
Okay.
Just just an idea to overcome the problems we might find and delay the implementation of the material part.
Because I'm just thinking, so because we would still require in the material stock file for you to update that and say you've got enough stock of that material for it to go green. That makes sense. So because even though yes, you could say it's okay, but we would still need this stock number to say that we've got enough stock to satisfy our demand.
But we also have a required date for that fabric that they can use that date to plan from that required date, right?
Yeah, so that bit's fine, but I'm saying it would always remain red unless they update the material stock.
Yes, once they know when the exact date when that material will be needed for that order, will be required for that order, they will plan the knitting or dyeing, whatever pre-processes that main fabric need, and then they will update the system from their ERP to say the fabric is being produced and is ready to be used, and they have to update within the interface file to say the fabric is available in the warehouse.
Yeah, and
but they just need a required date.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, I understand that bit, but I'm talking about the other bit.
Yeah.
Because you're saying that they would only. You're saying you'll only update it with an OK. The fabric, yeah.
The available OK.
That's what I'm saying. So that's not enough for us. We need to know the quantity.
Yes.
No. That's what he's saying. They're not doing the quantity. They're just saying the word OK.
The system will give you the shortfall.
No, not the shortfall, not the requirement. The stock.
I understand that. But at the same time, they need to know the quantity that they need to produce and when that quantity will be needed.
That's fine. Yeah.
So we will have all these flags. We will have all these reds. Yes. And then from there, you will know, oh, I don't have this fabric and I will need it this date. So you will start producing This is an alternative.
Yeah, but that's not what we're discussing. Not talking about the requirement. We're saying this receipt of stock.
Sorry?
Receipt of stock.
Receipt.
Yeah, receipting in the stock. So you're saying you're going to check the balances of what you have in stock,
Yeah.
and then update your
We
ERP
make it
with an
manually.
OK manually.
Because there are no connection now between the fabric orders and the garment orders.
Yeah.
And the difficult to connect because this is not number
But, yeah.
and this is number go.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
So for example,
yeah,
when we receive a diet container from India now, diet container black and white for TCB,
yeah,
what we are doing, I send a memo or the system in the cutting, and soon you will cut these orders TCB 01, 05, 06 from the received fabric
yeah.
with that quantity per each order. So that is what we need to do on FastReact and
Yeah.
ERP. When the fabric is out from dyeing and received dyed fabric from outside, we are recorded on the ERP or FR. The fabric is okay. So
Yeah.
he will be in gray
Yeah.
condition.
That's what I mean. So
That's
when you're saying that's a bit. So when you say okay, we also need for the interfaces the actual stock number. That's what we're going to need. Otherwise, it won't
The
change.
stock value.
Yes. So how many exactly you're receipting in?
Yeah.
That's what we need.
This is the quantity which calculated from. Already the quantity already is found.
Yeah. So we know that's what I mean. So to
Can-
match, otherwise it would
Okay.
No,
always
the same
be
quantity.
red.
Can
The
can
same
you
quantity will be right.
extract the word whenever we say yeah, okay, fabric is okay or whatever? You replace it while importing the data with okay with the required quantity, so you know that there is a match.
Would you not be able to give us the quantity?
The quantity already is found.
No.
No, because
Even if we send you the requirement, could you not then send that back?
Because we have the ability to generate a report, which like a pick list, of materials. So you can use that to see what materials are going to be needed for the orders.
he wants to make his life easier. He just instead of calculating or writing figures or numbers or something, we say okay, now we produced 7 tons of that specific fabric for the dye house. It will cover order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he will go into the orders.
So that's 7 ton then. So you know you've produced that 7 ton then. That's
7 tons from a different
We know which order
Dyed-
will be covered.
dyed order, not fabric order.
so that's what I mean. So
Sorry, not garment order.
garment orders, but you know that material is going to be in 7 tons. So that number, if you put that 7 tons into the material stock file, that'll be okay. That's what we need.
وعايز اقسم كل اوردر باستهلاكه بالظبط هتخش في موضوع تاني حساب كميات عايز بس اقول ان ده اوكي او نوت اوكي.
Yeah.
The quantity already is calculated in FastReact.
Yeah, the requirement, we calculate the requirement. We just need to know how many you've
need
produced.
to add instead of okay or available
The actual the exact quantity of how many you've produced, and then we would calculate whether or not that's okay or not, or how many more you need if you still need more.
The system will be okay fine now if we add the quantity of the BO in store.
So how do you mean? So,
You have production updates stations
You
and
can-
dye and knitting, right? When you're
Yeah,
doing
but
dye.
on a different orders. It's on a dyed on a fabric order, not on a garment order.
That's
Yes.
our material PO.
yeah. So we don't need it to be linked to a garment order. We just need to know the exact fabric that has been and how much you have in stock. That's all we need. So the fabric and the stock number that you have against it. You don't need to link it to the garment PO. FastReact will do that.
You can make
As long as you've already given us the material on the style bomb, of course. So we would make that link between the style, the order, and the material required. All you need to give us is, we have made this fabric, and we've made 7 tons of this fabric. Then we would do the linkage between saying, okay, so I will look at all my orders and look at all my orders that require which materials. So in that material requirement screen that I showed you, and then we would update that.
الأوردر.
So you don't need to tell us which government orders.
الايتم اللي موجود في البيل اوف ماتيريال.
طيب ماشي انا اوكي يعني هو ممكن يعمل ايتم كده او حاجه مجرد ما نكتب فابريك افيلابيلتي اوكي اور نوت اوكي مجرد ما نعمل اوكي هو يروح يكتب الكميه في الستور بسيطه دي
هو لا مش عنده عايزنا احنا نعمل عايزنا احنا نعمل فعشان نعملها دي انا ايه هعمل لك مخزن اسمه مثلا فاست رياكت
ماشي
مخزن اسمه كده
ماشي
في هتقول لي
الاوردر ده اوكي
الاوردر ده
مش اوكي
الفابريك بتاعه كوده ايه يعني
الكود ده
ما هنتفق ما هو المخزن ده هيبقى جوه 01 هو 24/1 سنجل جيرسي وات ايفر فابريك كفابريك يعني الاوردر ده استهلاكه من الفابريك سوري الاوردر ده الفابريك اللي هياخده كذا مش الاوردر ده الفابريك انواع الفابريك اللي عندنا ونروح كاتبين جنبه كده ده البالانس اللي هيبقى ابديتد كل شويه من رصيد المسبقه من رصيد المسبقه الاوردر ده البالانس بتاعه كام الصنف ده البالانس بتاعه كام والصنف ده هو اول ايتم في البيل هيبقى في البيل اوف ماتيريال
دلوقتي انا عايز مثلا اطلع لك النهارده 100 اوردر اقول لك قماش موجود عندي انت هتدخلنا ليه بحته كود قماش ونوع غزل
ما هو مش قادر يحسبها غير كده
خلينا احنا بقى بالاي ار بي انت عشان انا اعمل لك ده على الاي ار بي ويحس بيها الفاست رياكت
ما انا بتكلم كده على الاي ار بي ده هنعمله جوه اي ار بي
طب ما هي برضه شغلانه
ما هي شغلانه ما هو يعني هادئ
I remember we discussed about this during the workshop. You mentioned that you didn't have like a internal code structure to show the final material, the final fabric. You have a code for the dyed fabric, for the dyed, what to call it, like the batch number of the fabric, and then for the knitting you have another code as well. So you told us that you will put these 2 codes together, knitting and dyeing, to show the final code of that internal code of that fabric material.
It's a huge and it's different than the bill of material code. It's a code containing the roll number and the batch number for the fabric.
Yeah, that's what you said, roll number and batch number.
Yeah.
And then that will be your fabric for feeding the sewing lines, the cutting room.
Yeah.
And if you can attach a quantity to that code, that will be the quantity that you...
This is a different code that's used in the bill of material. This is not linked to the bill of material code. If we could simplify his life and we make that we make it simple. I don't know how to do it with FastReact.
You can act as well, like you do with the orders, for example. If you
with the orders, those list of orders.
Like when you do with the orders, for example, that you have a big PO number that is attached to the orders, so you can group those orders. So same thing with the material. You can add a material UDF that's like your internal PO number of the material for you to recognize which order that material comes from.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. Couldn't we do it directly from FastReact fabric, at least for the fabric, and we need it as well for the accessories. Someone might go into even FastReact and update for those orders. Fabric is okay. Fabric, secured fabric available. accessories available. The list of accessories are available.
No. If not with the MRP module, no. The only way to do that is, like I said, is to update the quantity receipted of the fabric.
Maybe. باشا تحت في ميتنج مع الشباب بتوع انجلترا. جاي لك من احمد عبد ايوه بعد ما احنا بنبعتها بعد ما احمد عبد طيب ما احنا لسه في اول النهار يا زعيم يعني. لا يا بيه انا امبارح مدين لشادي الغباء بتاعهم، مدين لشادي لما كلمتك انا قلت مصنع الملابس ومصنع القماش بعتوها لشادي. في وقتها بعتوها لشادي وبعدين قالوا طب احنا خلصنا المخازن طب قلت لهم خلاص زودوها على عند شادي. فالغباء قال سحبت اللي عند شادي علشان طب ما تزودي عليها مخازن ليه بتسحبي القديمه؟ حتى قالوا له هو دخل عليها السلف قالوا له هندخلها لك تاني. زودي عليها ليه سحبت القديمه عشان دخل عليها السلف تدخلها ورا. الناس كده هتقبض بكره في فلوس عندك. طيب بس احنا طيب انا الفصل رياكت معلم هبعت لك بالنبي عشان هم هيطردوهم من الفندق. هبعت لك الفاتورتين بتاعتهم. طيب ما انا عايز اكلمك من الصبح بس انت قطعت اجتماعنا واحنا معاهم قطعت خلوتنا الشرعيه. الشرعيه ماشي. اوكي. Good, this is the financial manager. Good to finalize your invoices with him. هو حذفها كده لسه بكلمك.
كده عشان نكتب مثلا نكتب كميات حاجات عشان ننجح البتاع ده. لا بسيط في ننجحه في الحته. اوكي كيف هو يدخل يكتب كميات، يكتب الكميات الاكشوال بتاعته موجوده في المخزن. سهل يعني. عشان يبقى الامور
نجاح تطبيق الفابريك يعني the key factor for the success of the material part is in this area.
I know.
To find a way.
And what the way I see it, because this is knitting and dyeing, this is the next phase of the project. The way I see it.
We couldn't wait till the next phase.
I know. So right now, I think we need an alternative to make this work properly. So that's why I was saying that you are your own supplier. You are producing your own material. Like in the same way that you buy, in the same way that you buy from China or India, you are your own supplier. So how you treat the orders of materials when you buy from external sourcing, buy a material purchase order, right? You use a material purchase order, and then within that material purchase order, you have many materials that you would procure from your supplier. So the same way you do it internally. You have a material purchase order internally, which will give you the quantity of the material that you will need, the whole quantity, and if you have PO lines in it.
We produce our dyed material, we don't buy it. We don't do.
You knit and you dye, right?
We knit and dye.
Yes, so that's what I'm talking about. You need one master PO.
No, not per work order.
No per work order, per PO.
Knitting is
per customer PO.
No, per work order. For us. He is knitting per work order. He break down the customer work order. Hello? لا هو لازم اعتماده قبل ما تتصرف قبل ما تتصرف. ما هو كاتب، ما هو احمد عبد الغني مصمم دماغه الفسيخ لازم لازم كل لما تيجي تتصرف كل 3 شهور تتمديها. بصي في اخر الكلام كده، في اخر الورق كده لكنه دي غلطه مني انا يعني. لو شطب عليها بصدق سنه يبقى خلاص مش محتاجين نرجع لكل واحمد عصفور احمد عبد الغني ماسك في كلمه باعتمادكم دي. لا تصرف كل 3 شهور باعتمادكم السلاح
Okay.
والأقدام دي معناها إن لازم كل 3 شهور
Ready to go again? Ready?
باعتماد الورق.
You okay?
والله يعني
This
We're
one.
still discussing about the material, how they are going to send,
مش محتاج
because
We can make it every day 10 minutes. We can solve this.
because that's going to be like a. I know you can do it because when we did the factory tour, I noticed that you have control stations at dye, and you have control stations at printing, and you have even your barcode of your rolls, and then also
Now
you
the-
have batches for your dye lots, right?
This will be solved the problems when we make also the facility for the family.
Yes, but right now we need to find a temporary solution to add your main material, the fabric that is already being dyed and already being knitted, into your work orders in here in the system. So he need to send that. He need to send those work in progress activities from dyeing. That the fabric is being dyed, the fabric is being knit into the ERP in order to say, okay, this fabric is available. It's available to be cut, and then those production updates coming from those stations knitting and dyeing can come into the ERP and then feed our interfaces files to send here the available material that is already being produced internally. But I don't know how you're going to do it.
hard. Especially for Bahia, you know.
Because there are two types of orders. There are no connection.
Yes, there are no connection.
So-
If you have like a master material PO order, and from there,
There is big difference to make
Yeah.
3 orders to finish to ship one BO.
yes.
Garment BO, fabric BO, master BO. You will need to kill me.
Yeah, it's difficult.
No,
to
it's
handle.
easy. It's easy from my understanding. We need to add 1 icon, 2 icons, small icon 1. Fabric accessory available, not available. It's available. We will update every day the finished from dyeing or received available or not available. When we choose the available, automatically he record in stores the quantity calculated. It's not difficult. Not available, he will not add the quantity in the store.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's possible, but then you won't be using this, the MRP
This
module.
will be
You'd have to turn it off there.
Yes,
That's the
it will
problem.
be easy for us. Accessory and fabric.
Especially for Bahia. Bahia have the bigger problems in Bahia. They don't have that code. It's the stores is not that organized in terms of. They use the stores for the balance, for the inventory, for the costing techniques, or. But
So how do they know what fabrics to issue to what orders, or when to issue the fabrics? To the sewing lines.
Currently, they issue the fabric on that specific order. When they issue fabric.
Okay.
But when they receive the fabric, they don't put they receive the fabric in box.
They look also at two types of fabric and garment. Same.
The same problem.
Same look. They buy fabric BO from me and they use another BO from cotton also.
Okay, but what's the link between the
There's
two?
No.
This is the problem.
So even the fabric code changes?
Yeah.
No,
The fabric code changes. No, the fabric code is the same.
Yeah, so that's what we're
But
utilizing though.
It's not the same fabric code in.
it's called the fabric.
That's linked to the bill of materials.
Because two orders, two customers, two clients use the same code of fabric. Boromodor and Aldrock. This is it's the same fabric.
Can you help?
So-
You will do a great favor if you could solve it. Through
So how do you then know what's so if the bomb item code is different to the fabric code. What's the linking between those two?
There is the same. We created a field in the stock item master for the BOM item code. It's supposed to be that BOM item code which is in the bill of material.
So what? That's what I mean. So how do you know which fabric is linked to which BOM item code?
Currently, we don't know. Currently, we don't know. Just hello. أنا في اجتماع بس خليني أخلص وأكلمك بس. طيب تمام تسلم إيدك تمام أخلص وأكلمك بس. ماشي شكرا مع السلامة.
So we're saying that, okay, so fabric 1, we're saying has BOM item code, let's say B. What's the bit that links that fabric to the BOM item code? Or
Currently we don't have one.
There's no link between a fabric and a BOM item code.
Yeah.
So
we created a field to link them, but currently we don't have. We feel difficulty for the guys to link it. This is why we are thinking of another solution, because the huge number of items. We are thinking if we depend on the stores and the update of the link between the store items and the bill of material item codes, take a long time. I'm thinking of someone will be hired in the planning section, will be responsible for the day-to-day update of the data, of the production data and everything, and also the material information, where he get because this information is with engineer Saad on the Excel sheet. So he will take this information and feed it into FastReact. Feed it in a simple way, just to make this model effective.
Okay. So yes, you can do that, but again, that means you would have to be updating daily the material stock quantities in FastReact manually.
Material stock.
So Saad, if you go to the materials drop down.
I tell you, but we must insert the quantity also.
Yes, it would have to be quantity. Yes.
BO by 1 BO. We don't need
not by PO. It would have to be by fabric. That's what I mean.
Okay.
So if you go to materials, yep, and then stock. Yep. Okay. So in there, you would have to select the material reference, whatever it may be, whichever one it was. Okay. Then you would then say the location. So in this case, we're going for Kasserine. Sorry, this one. Yeah, so just change that to KZ, Kasserine. Yep. And then you just say what our stock quantity is. So this is what they would have to do on a daily basis for each one of the fabrics. To say, okay, so for fabric 0TT Kaz, we have 10,000 pieces in store. Do you see what I mean? Thank you very much.
But you know
that's what we would need for this module MRP to be functional.
I can understand that. This is the systematic way.
Yeah, otherwise
This is the systematic way.
Yeah,
but
that's nothing to use.
But we did not solve that.
Yeah.
Because that was one fabric code used for many customers and many orders. For Bahia and Kasserine also TCP, similar to the bias, similar to our fabric. Maybe stores takes some fabric to buy it. And
So
the sewing order, the sewing order, each order, separate order of the cutting.
Yep.
We need to insert to him. It's available fabric. We will go to cutting section today. We will cut this orders. Okay, it's available fabric with this quantity. If I put 100 ton black from this fabric.
Yep. Then we have 100 tons to use.
How they know this will be for this order? Maybe you use it for Bahia, or you will buy them.
No, here you're adding the location, which is
To say Kasserine.
and it will be available.
Kasserine is general.
No, in terms of FastReact, no. So Kazarine and Bahia are two separate locations.
Two separate warehouse.
كازارين have يوم ملوخية كازارين and many customers.
Yeah, Kasserine is Fayoum. Kasserine.
ممكن تعال تفضل.
Many customers. With the same
You need
with
to.
the same fabric type.
Yes, it will. If you have
هي مانجر.
Okay. Nice.
FastReact implementation team. We meet them tomorrow. We will go tomorrow to Bahia. We'll start training in Bahia for 2 days, tomorrow and day after.
Okay. Mr. Ahmed Sami is sales manager in Dubai. Our sales manager.
Nice to meet you, everyone.
Hey, nice to meet you very much.
Dubai, it's the first time to see him. Shahid?
لا Shahid, he is leaving in 2 months.
You replace Shahid?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh.
somehow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
what?
You have coffee and food in packet Ramadan or not?
I do have.
You have
But here, the quantity you add in here, if for example you produce 8 tons to supply the whole plant.
No.
If you produce,
I don't produce by this. I think I produce 5 tons covering black single jersey certified. I use 2 tons for TCB and 2 tons for the bias and 1 ton for Ramadan. All of them is Kazarine.
So you want to
Maybe the stores or the system keep the 5 tons belong to TCB only.
اللي هيدفع هيجيب وسط البيت.
So what you're saying is you want to specifically you want to reserve. Reserve. Yeah.
The order number to be cut.
So you want.
So for example, I have this black fabric,
Yep.
TCB.
17
I need to finish it. The bias is anything accessory, and we can't start this one. We can't start to allocate 5 tons. So I need him to use for TCB. He will fill for TCB and the bias and so on.
Okay. So in that scenario where you're saying that it's not, so you have the fabric that could be used across 2 orders, but the Levi order doesn't have the accessories. You would have the red
We
strip
will
in there.
make the
plan.
the fabric and accessory in the center.
So
We will update it.
to reserve.
You know, I don't want to give chance to cutting or any guy in the cutting or sewing to cut the fabric if he win him. No, I must tell him what he exactly he used
For which orders?
for certain purpose.
Then that would be based on what you've put on your plan. Then, if
To
you
avoid also the mistakes of sending wrong fabric to wrong orders.
yeah. So if on your plan, then one order. So if you close this down, okay, yeah, close that. So if we're saying that these, for example, all these were different orders, but they were using the same fabric. Yeah, they're different separate orders. They all require the same fabric. Then the ones that require the fabric should be planned first, no?
Yeah.
Then on the plan we would have the ones that require the fabric and the ones that you want to prioritize for the fabric. They would be planned first.
No, we blend the sewing is the first.
Yeah.
We take the quantity required for the majority of the sewing and shaping, and we make it its related fabric. We don't make the fabric first and then the cutting you used cut what you want. No, we make it not actually we make it no, we book the yarn as a forecast, but the dyed fabric we make it according to the period of sewing.
Yes. So this where you plan here would generate the dates of a requirement of when we need those fabrics. So that would tell the dyeing house
Yes.
when they need to dye fabric to satisfy these sewing orders.
Yes.
Correct?
Now the fabric is finished from dyeing or buying up from India or China, we need this order to be cut, to fill from the store.
Yep. So you need
And
to,
just inform him, is fabric is available, accessory available, so it's okay.
Yes.
you can move forward to that order. So
Yeah,
go
this order.
go take this material from the stores and begin to cut.
Yes.
Yes. So that's what you would get
It
from
is
here.
what we already done here
Mhm.
manually. Every day, the output of dyeing
Yep.
from TCP is producing fabric is navy or black or smoke, 5 tons, 6 tons, 7 tons.
Mhm.
I already sent a memo from the beginning informing the follow-up of garment. You will cut 1, 2, 3, 4, TCP 01, TCP 02, TCP 06. Because they already have a period of shipping.
Mhm.
The output batches output from the dyeing is different from no relation between the centers. When we receive a container, a dyed fabric from outside, I send a memo to the cutting and follow up
Mhm.
garment. This fabric will be received tonight. You will cut 1, 2, 3, 4 these orders. This is we need to.
Okay.
And
And then you will get the same from that because depending, like I said, depending on where you've planned these orders on the plan,
yeah.
that would generate the cutting schedule.
You
Yes.
see
So
that
based
you have
on
a-
yes, so based
you have
on
a date in there.
Exactly.
You have a day of the week, and the orders in the plan also have a delivery date in the order. So the system will calculate all those dates and give you a schedule for you to start cutting. And what are you going to start cutting? The bill of materials in that order. And if you share materials across all the orders in the system or different customers in the orders in the system, the first one, there is a saying that you guys use in the UK.
FIFA, first in, first out.
Yes, the first in, first served. So the first order you place here today, and today's date, the first shift in the morning, it will utilize that material. It will not bring other material. It will not be, how to say, there will not be a problem of mixing materials or cutting for another order. You will not have that problem because it depends on where you place that order in the planning board.
Yep. So from this plan, we will generate reports. So where instead of you sending a memo saying cut these orders, you would have a report that generates from FastReact that says these are the orders that I need you to cut. Based on my plan, I need to cut order 1, 2, 3 for tomorrow, so to make sure I can feed my sewing line. So you won't just allocate materials just because they all share the same one. It will look based on what order sequence you've planned them in. So we would be saying that TCP 0192UP, we would allocate materials to this order first before we allocate materials to this one because we planned it ahead of this one. So that scenario where you're saying people taking the same, that won't be an issue because they should be following the plan that is based in sewing first. Okay?
It's basically the same logic that you are using right now. It's the same logic.
But just different way of getting the same thing. Okay? But it still obviously doesn't solve the problem with the fabric and the bomb item code. But
That is an ERP
yeah.
issue that Shaker need to solve because for him to have to be 100% sure what fabric is he's using for his orders, that bill of material code that Evolve have in the system, it needs to link to the orders.
fabric stores. Really?
Yeah. Yes, Shaker
And
doesn't see very good.
the percentage of success is 25%, 70%.
If you have a material member or of a staff allocated to follow up materials, maybe they can help you to do that through spreadsheets manually. Maybe.
I make it with myself every day
Yeah, I guess that's a lot of time during your day.
to guarantee everything is okay in the cutting
Yeah.
and the shelling and the variety. If I send this to the store guy, I don't know the planning, the majority, the time, they maybe cut around the fabric, even not fabric, not variety.
Yes.
Without material.
But you're right. The next.
So
the next
I make it
phase.
below
Yeah.
from the FR-FastReact. They don't cut this one.
Yeah.
If someone go to cutting, if you send to cut this, no problem. You will come to me.
Yes.
No, I don't want to cut this one. This is not the reality. I block this one.
Exactly. Yeah. We will be keep like manual work for now, I think, till Shakir managed to find a way to send that information.
الشكل will help us with this. لا هم بقول لك لازم تشوف في المخزن وتشوف الكميات وتكتبها ومش لازم يعملها. خلينا فكرة كده نكتبها. أو ممكن نكتب الكميات بتاعت كل حاجة، كل أوردر بتساوي إيه في الARB وبسمع في الستور على الأوردر بتاعه والأوردر
First comes first served.
الأوردر
What
السينك.
Nigel always said.
First come first served.
الARB يضيف له مش موجود ولا لا في على الARB. مجرد ما يلاقي كلمة available أو مش available في ARB هو يكتب الكميات ويبدأ فيه
لازم احولها
FR-FastReact.
Did you just show me this morning the materials file that
والكود ده
Bahia
غير
sent
كود
this
المخزن
morning.
لازم يربط مع كود البومب.
did you
وراح
interface
مرميها له
any
بكود البومب.
files from Bahia?
Yes, I think so.
Did you interface materials?
Yes.
Can I see any materials from
إذا
Bahia?
أنت تعمل لي مثلا ويند كده ويند كده عندك سنة.
Maybe they do tune it. I
This
have
is
no
the
idea what the
computer
code's
where
actually.
it's showing right now.
لو مجرد
Yeah,
كده
it's on some sheets.
I wanted to see if they managed
على
to
الأوردر
just leave the
PCB 01 مثلا
just leave
تتأكد
the
خلاص إن هو مش
material
موجود.
characters
الكود
in
بتاعه ومش بتاعه إيه يبدأ تسمع بقى ما أنت هتعمل
Yeah, but you're gonna need
الحاجات
to. I don't know what any of the
طب احنا ممكن كل
yeah.
ما هو كل أوردر اهوت
It's a
أنت
shit ton
اوريدي
of order.
مكتوب
Oh, maybe
له
can I
خامته
see
إيه؟
the
استهلاكه
file?
إيه؟ صح
لا ما هو دي اللي انا عايز اخدها منك.
اللي هي إيه؟
الخامة والاستخدام
بسيط أدي لك كل حاجة أنت عايزها ما هي
والاكسسوارات
عندي على الفايل بتاعك
والاكسسوارات من عند
Oh, is that? Have you done them again?
Material stock 2?
بس
No?
ما-
Yeah.
Material.
It's this one, but I mean, just looking at these, he's done them again.
ولا عندك برضه؟
الاكسسوارات موجودة لا مش عندي موجودة
عند غير.
العميل دي كل واحد
يقول
ماسك
لك
عميل.
إيه؟
أنا أدي لك القماش لو عايز
شكرا. At least for Saad to have a reference that he can understand and he can read. Maybe we can turn around the computer. It's okay. You can just turn around here. This is the material stock file from Bahia. The material stock file from Bahia. If you notice in there, he had the Arabic
Yeah.
description in it,
Yeah.
which can be really good for Saad to read properly.
Yeah.
Because the ones from Kazarin, you have like question marks. in it.
Yeah.
So
This is
he
very
cannot
good.
read anything.
I will ask him how he did that.
If you can do the same, it will be quite
Sure,
useful.
we will ask him how he did
Yeah.
that.
So he can see that more because the code doesn't mean anything to him.
Yeah, but
Right.
We always link with the codes. We don't link with the description. The bomb link with the code with the stock items. So this fabric for the bed linen or bed linen white fabric, well, he doesn't understand that.
What's the problem? This already is a fabric and so no orders, no cutting orders. No orders recorded in this one. This is what we are talking about.
Okay. What's it supposed to do perfect? If we want to move perfect with them, is to have bill of material file, bill of material items.
Oh, yeah, items.
Okay. Fabric is 01 for that specific order for TCP 011820, for example. Fabric 01, which is single jersey, consumption is 250 grams. Bags, sticker, and then they go to the stock of which fabric, they go to stock 03, for example. They look for stock 03, they are working with another code 010243 for the same fabric. But we added another field here named bump code, which is supposed to write to them 01. So this is the proper way to interact with between our ERP and FastReact. But since currently, according to the number of items and the quality of the people here, I know they will not be able to do that link perfectly.
That's what I told you.
They will
If
not
it
be
done,
able to
will
do
be
that.
many mistakes and will be affected on the. And we every day will go to the store to solve the allocated card. من هنا انت عندك.
ما انا عايز اعملها بطريقه
اعملها وشوف
انا لازم في الاخر الاكسبورت انترفيس فايلز فاست رياكت لازم تبقى فيه ستوك.
ماشي تعمل بوينت ستوب، ادي لك الكونسبشن، ادي لك الخامه قدام كل اوردر ونزودها على السيستم.
Or your mat schedule as well. In your mat schedule, you can also send what you are going to produce, what quantities you are going to produce.
الكونسبشن بتتعمل جدا.
consumption is okay.
والخامه موجوده.
والخامه انا اللينك مشكلتي في اللينك.
طبعا ممكن لو كتبت في الستور نمبر كام 3 لو كتبنا ستور
نمبر 5 اكسسوارز
نمبر 5 لو كتبت انت كلمه 03 في الستور يسمع ان هو ده في الفريش خلاص كميه ولا تكتب الكميه؟
لازم تكتب الكود جنبه 03 وال03 ده كل الخامات. انهي خامه بقى فيه؟
لازم تختار الخامه والكميه. طب ما تفكر في حته كده سهله جدا بتاعتك المهندس بقى الكمبيوتر وعبقري. بمجرد ما انا اكتب افيلبل هو يكتب الخامه بتاعته من الخامه اللي هديها لك الكود بتاعه وكمياته في المخزن يحس بيها على طول. بدل ما انا اكتب له الخامه والكود لا انا اكتب له مثلا اوكي هو يقوم او افيلبل هو يروح يقوم بدل ما اتعمل.
The most important document when you leave. Whenever we miss something, we will go back to the recording.
Yeah.
That's very good.
No problem.
I will check with the guy here to tell the guy at Bahia
To always record.
with the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you told him about the interface files that he need to fix?
Yeah, no, not yet. What's the time? I have another meeting in the other room, so I'm switching.
Oh, okay,
Back and
good.
forth, back and forth.
Shane, can you also use some time to explain to him about build-up curves?
Yes, yeah, sure, yeah. That was what we were going to do anyway, yeah. So I imagine you guys have instances where you get a new style and you say that it takes a certain amount of time before they become very proficient at this new style.
Yeah.
Yeah? So that's what we call build-up curves. Okay?
Yeah, the first day we produce 20%.
Exactly. So
This is we call graded for the first production.
Yep.
For the new styles.
So what we call that is build-up allowances or build-up curves. Okay?
التدريج الموديل الجديد داخل لأول مرة ما بنطلبش منه الإنتاج من أول يوم.
Learning curve we call it.
Yes.
Learning curve. Many names for it.
Yeah.
But same thing effectively. So what we have is new style. Let's call it new style. So we'll create a new one called new style.
Yeah, new styles.
Okay. So if you're saying on day one on a brand new style,
New style is new product. Because new style is maybe is style number is different, but it's the same polo shirt and same T-shirt. No need to make it better. New product.
How do you mean, sorry?
Your style number or style type?
Say style
It's a
number.
new style.
So-
3020 TCP 3020 مثلا it's a style code, product code.
Yeah, if it's a new style code that you've never done before,
Style code is style code.
yeah, so maybe it has some new features that you're not
Because
used to.
This shirt is similar in production. This is new style.
But you
This
wouldn't.
is the old one.
But you wouldn't have any.
But there are no grading in the product.
So if it's okay, so between different styles, it's the same.
If the models, the styles, this shirt with vent and this without vent, this is new style.
But
Yes, something like that.
Changing
Yeah.
is the construction of the line.
Yes.
This is in case, hypothetical case, for example, that line number 1 that is always been producing t-shirts, and then now it's going to learn how to produce trousers.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, or maybe the style have different accessories that, I don't know, different accessories that the team need to know how to
So like you said,
work on that.
yeah, like you said, where they have one that has vents and then one that doesn't. So if they were going between the style that doesn't have vents to the one that has vents on the side, that may take time for them to get used to.
We call it here in the line new model.
New model.
New
yeah.
model.
New model. Okay, so we'll go for that. So new model. Okay. So what we can then do is say day 1, roughly you're not going to be 20%. You say
20% from the production.
20%. Okay.
40.
And then 40,
40.
The second day, the third
60,
day.
Yeah.
and then we're saying by day 4, 80%.
They for law 100%.
Say day 4, 100%.
Wow.
Wow. You good?
3 days to reach
To reach the good to
target. Yes.
targets. Okay. There we go. So you see, we've even got the graphical representation of how our production should be. Okay. So now we then have the ability, when we go to our planning board, to say, okay, let me use this one as an example. Can remember where it is. Just build
Not
up.
by the row. As a row instead of straight.
Yeah, you can do it row, but I prefer to do it straight. Where's it gone? Start of time. There we go. I always miss it. So yeah, now you can select. So you can have multiple. So you can have either new model, and then you can have one that's I don't know, change between product types. So yeah, new model. Update. And you see it's also highlighted, the color. That's just to show you that this in specific style, it has a build-up curve has been applied to it. This predictive order has a build-up allowance. So the days you see, it's going to be elongated.
But we must clarify to FR that is new model or old model.
So you would specify FR. So you need to tell. So you like you do there. You just select it and say this one specifically is a new model. Therefore, it's going to take some time for us to produce it. So if we also looked at our planned schedule, you can see the quantities that we're producing. Day 1, we're only doing 291 pieces. Day 2, 436. Day 3, we're at 100%, and we go on continuing 100% until we're completed. Okay? So FR then takes that build-up accounts, and then this will be our target for that order for the day.
This is for new model. If new style,
You may have.
new label, new size pics,
It would
new
be the
size,
same.
but the same. One day only will be this 50%. Second day 100%.
100%. Okay. So that would just be another profile that we set up.
Quantity.
But yeah, you can set up as
But
many
the
of those as you want.
production manager asked me to book it in the land. I don't know.
You always do 100%.
Yeah,
You expect
You
100%.
need to change label, change what the difference.
Yeah, it's the same.
But new model,
New model, definitely. Yeah. So like I said, that we now take that into account when we're planning, and it'll obviously elongate the strip to take into account that the first couple of days when we're producing this style, we won't be at 100% yet.
Usually they use also this one to add like for a team or a line that you have that is for training. And also you can
Before
use this.
they were before from 5-6 years ago there was a training room, but now they destroy it.
Training school.
Training school,
Yeah.
but now
We had a deal before with ILO to do a training school for here for the subordinate factories. Yeah.
if
For
you
this stuff.
Okay.
they train new guys, new police, in the line 1 or 2. On the line will be 1 week on the line beside any machine, learn. Not a separate again. Another company in Egypt make a training school. The Nile Giza, maybe 100 person.
And then you take them from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But when we make it, the girls and the boys labors. They train.
Yeah, they
4
training.
months.
Go somewhere else.
You must work on the lines, labor to another company.
It's very common. It's very common. Yes. Yeah. Shekhar, did you manage to do the forecasting on the orders? That's why I just had it on my mind. Sorry, completely separate.
Yeah, I totally forgot. But once we finish,
Yeah.
the time we set for this half an hour before leaving, I'll do it.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
We show you next time, Sad. Next time we show you about the difference between the confirmed orders and the speculative orders.
Okay. بدأت مصر
Okay.
يكلمونا
عارف يا باشمهندس صعب انا عامل زي ام العروسه ولا ليها اي لازمه في الدنيا
إذا أنت كل في الكلام
والله فاضيه ومشغوله.
That's hard. Yeah. So, if you help me to fill this, to understand the low level, you understand how to handle the rows, which is the lines, and also the capacity, the rotation. We talk about the rotation.
So where we did the material colors and talked about the products. Yeah, remember that?
And then
Yeah.
low level, all the icons. Can you open it in there? Yeah, all the icons here on the
Yeah.
top. You understand what they
Yeah.
do. Here, this one. And then load list, which is this finger in here that Sheikh was
Yes.
explaining to you where the orders come from.
Yeah.
You understand that one too. And also the concept of accepting the orders icon, which is the one next to it.
Yeah.
Sheikh is going to go through the colors of the strips now. Wait, and then
yes,
right
yes.
click. He's going to go through that one too. This one as well.
المولد على نصر اسمه نصر اوردرز كلاينت المولد على نصر ماشي
And yeah, the work content that by operation by root and then product structure. You know, when the product have the work content in it, which is the sun minutes.
Yeah. 20 seconds, 16 1 by focus.
Yeah, here also this one. You know what is a product type and the routing. Remember we saw that yesterday, the root setting.
Yes.
Efficiency profile just now, and the global core. And yeah, as well. Sheikh explained to you, and also is here in all the strip colors, what the strip color means on time, late, and
Yes.
critical problem. Is splitting, you know, by different quantities. The
Yes.
strip,
To put
the
on multiple lines.
loading bar charts, how he show you. These are
The cutting room load.
this one.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
one here, you can show you
comfortable
the
with that?
other cutting room, sorting, packing, audit, all the other
Yes.
areas.
Yeah.
Also, he's gonna go through the right-click orders. The statuses now in a moment, so we're gonna do and also this one later. All about materials, material stock, schedule, and material planning options. So it's going to continue with the right-click of the order strip.
المفروض اتعدلت الحفظ المتغير انا استاذنت الاستاذ عصام قلت له علشان خاطري انا شخصيا يعني
Okay, so good.
Yeah.
الناس كلها هتقبل بكره.
So as you've probably already seen, the right-click options, there's many options, many different things. They're all many things that we can do from it, all aimed to making the planning a lot easier for yourself. So we've got the common ones that we've already been through, you know, the split strips, split quantities, to split wherever. So obviously to split the order into multiple lines. You're happy with that? Yep, we've been through that. Unload the strip, straightforward. If you have an order on the plan that you no longer want there, you select that, disappears from the board, but obviously you go back into the load list for you to replan whenever you want it to. So it won't delete it from the system, it will just hide it from the plan. Okay? Transfer to another planning board. You shouldn't really ever need to use this option. However, if you do need to, you could, for in the instance which I don't believe happens.
Scenario board and
No, so this would be between Kazreen and Bahir. So if you have an order, a sewing order that you believe you can't fulfill, and you want to give it to Kazreen instead, Kazreen to Bahir instead, you can right-click on that strip and say transfer to planning board, and then it will say Bahir. So this would be you giving the order, the whole order, to Bahir. But do you ever do that? I don't think you do you?
We make it, yes. Just today they asked to take 10,000 pieces from Boudreaux to manufacture them.
Okay, so you may do it from Bahir to Kazreen.
Yeah.
Okay.
We bring it even
If they can't
pieces or fabric and you cut.
Okay, so yeah, maybe you might do that then. So you right-click and then you can just select which board you're transferring to, vice versa, between Kazreen and Bahir.
But this is what the system will not feel this one before inserting on the ARB system.
How do you mean?
This order will be transferred from Bahia to Kazareen for manufacturing. This belongs to Bahia.
Oh, so it's still a Bahir order?
Yeah. When they transfer to Kazareen, we must insert to ARB Kazareen to see in the FR.
Yeah. And since the orders and the productivity of the orders and everything, the definition of the order.
ARB in Bahia system and in Kazareen system.
I see what you mean. Yes, you would need two orders. Okay, yeah. So you would still be
still there in ARB in Bahia and they will be in Kazareen system until finishing and to ship from Kazareen, send to Bahia for shipping.
This is the same order.
If yes, same order, same number of cutting order, same number. If you make it in Kazareen chart, you will see these orders. If you open Bahia chart, you will see these orders unless they remove from ERP system. But in this case, they can't remove it. They can't delete it from ERP because he will take the goods to ship it.
Because he is still his order, he needs to ship it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the process would be for that. Because if you create a new order in your ERP for the same order, then obviously it will try and import that as a brand new order for him to plan. Would you keep the same order number?
Yeah, we will keep.
Okay, so if you keep the same order number, that
Already handling
should be
it
fine.
because
Then.
they ask what's the status of our order Pomodoro 1669.
Okay. So that should be fine then. Okay, that should be fine. Because I was just thinking, if you gave it a new order number, then it would duplicate the same workload. With having two places.
I think we will not.
No, it won't make a difference. No, it'll be fine. Okay. So our next option is the properties. So you would have seen me click on this a couple of times now. Properties, again, this is just where we were before, where you may have missed it, Shaka. This is where we are adjusting the number of workers per order. So you have the option to either say, by default, we're saying 26 workers in this team or operators, but for this one order, we're actually going to use 20 instead. So you can override the line defaults by order to say if more or less workers are going to be working on this order. Or you can do the reverse of that and say, for example, say if we had a target of 10,000 pieces per week, I could type in 10,000, click on the quantity, and it'll tell me that actually I need 60 workers to produce this 10,000 pieces. It won't update it, it will just calculate it for you and say, you need more workers to get onto this to make this happen. Okay? Also in this screen, you've got quite a few other things as well. So you've got what are called the key dates. So you can see things like preparation start, load into production. Preparation start is the cutting date. So we're saying that we need to cut by the 15th of May. That we need to load the first pieces into production by the 18th of May. Change machine, you could ignore because we're not changing machines. Production start, same again, the 18th of May. And then the last important date, completing section. So complete dates. We should be completing the last pieces by the 29th of May. So these are just nice key dates so you can see quickly where my progress is or where things should be happening based on my current plan. Okay. Section information, you shouldn't need to worry about either as well. No, don't do that. Right click. Plan schedule, again, we've already been through that one, but I'll show you again. This is just showing you the quantity breakdown by day. Okay, event report is currently grayed out, but that's purely because we've not got any events. We haven't created our time and action yet. But if we create our time and action, you would have this option triggered. So I'm going to add the timetable there anyway, just so you can see. So our timetable is Levi production, update. So now that I've got TNA associated to it, I go to my event report, and then it just gives me the list of my outstanding activities that I need to complete for this order, and then the days that it was expected to be done by. And as you can see here, we were expected to do one of our critical events, TD sample, on the 10th of April. However, we've not done it yet, hence why we've got that orange flag. And if you look at the planning board, all our strips are orange.
She can take one PO with short including cutting, sewing, ironing, baking until shipping, final order.
What do you want to? Do you want to see the dates?
No, short.
The load.
Load, yeah.
Can
we get this from?
Not you. That's the status will show you how many you've actually done. If that makes sense. Not how many you're planning to do on the dates.
But then the production schedule, no?
It says.
The one you just showed.
Yeah, the plan schedule only shows you a couple of days. It doesn't show you the entire thing. The only way you can get the entire thing is we could create a report for that.
Many customers asking this.
For that exact, yeah.
So, from 2 weeks ago, there are difference between us and the office about shipping 68,000 pieces with PO.
Yeah.
I told them it's end of July.
Yeah.
He asking me, show me how to ship.
How many
Like,
pieces?
with the shop.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I make it manual.
Yeah.
This is yarn, knitting, dyeing, cutting, sewing, painting, shipping here. I show you like this.
yeah. Okay.
Can
So
we get
we don't have it as a default screen. However, we can create reports for you that you generate from the system. So just one click button and boom, it will produce exactly that.
But
for
I
you.
need it before official DO. Separate, because sometimes they ask to send me or this is new order.
So this is.
How many days will take to from you?
So you're saying, are you doing that before you've even
As a
planned?
schedule
Before you've planned?
before.
Before you've even put it on the planning board?
Separate, and if we can put it from the plan from actual orders from the ERP orders will be okay.
Then, and then in this case, we will need a provisional order. Because they still don't have the PO available.
Yeah.
So they will need.
No, consider it will be in ERP system.
But it needs to, but that's what I'm saying, if you can have a,
Like I need to pull it from ERP with this one.
yeah, so that would, for the one where you've not got a confirmed order, it would need to come
Confirmed
from,
order.
if it's confirmed and it's in the system, then you can pull it from the system. But if it's before you've received the confirmed PO, then you would have to either create an order in the system or you pull it from the ERP or create it manually, I don't know. Because we need some sort of order, whether it be confirmed or provisional, to calculate these dates.
If it not confirmed yet.
If it's
Can
not
be
confirmed,
provisional.
it can be provisional, but you still need to create the order.
Can you open the
I
order
I need this to because new orders they ask to ship in some
Yeah.
certain date. I many times we must meet
Yeah.
to show how we can ship it.
Yeah, so you can do, you can, as Jay said, you can have an order with the status of provisional
Provisional order.
instead of confirmed. So in the instances where you have, like I said, you have those orders that are not
no
confirmed.
enough data, just only product and quantity, and the delivery date,
Yeah,
and the receiving fabric. I assume that, so we can build this without color code, without colors, many
Yeah.
times
Yeah.
without color.
you can do that, yeah. So you can create that manually and just say provisional order, just so you can generate some dates. So you can put it on the plan as a provisional, and you to calculate
Okay.
roughly calculate that schedule. Okay. So yeah. So provisional order with you just create it manually, give it.
Forecast will actual, yeah. Will give me this shot.
Yes. If
If
you
you-
give a
yeah.
report.
Start cutting, sewing, iron, paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just need a delivery date.
Delivery.
So from the delivery date, it will calculate the other dates.
Yes.
But this is something that Shakir need to know because he will need to create provisional orders in the interface files to bring here into the system. And
This is
then,
no data.
That's what I'm saying. It's not. That's what you just do manually.
This is not very firstly. There is new orders, new data available to make it.
So you can't do it. So that's what it have to be manually. Yeah.
you have to create basically
Yeah.
manually.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That would
It
be
would-
your job to create the order manually. But then we have to create a reporting filter by provisional.
We must add some data in RB to get this.
No, you can do it directly in here. Yeah. So for as you've seen, as you've seen before, to create an order in FR, it's very strict, simple. So you just go, say, provisional.
In order.
Yeah. So you just create one manually, give it a name, select the product or style, the customer, delivery, and quantity.
Then will give me the shot.
And then you just need to say provisional, and then obviously you stick it on the planning board, and it will give you the charts. You can skip the step of going to the ERP, just quickly create one.
Yeah.
Roughly how many provisional orders you may have per month?
10 or 11.
So not many.
Not too many. So you can do it manually.
Well, yeah, you can create them manually.
But remember, they are provisional status,
Yeah.
so they will not mix with your open confirm order.
Especially for
Yeah.
new customers.
Yeah.
Especially for new.
Yeah.
The current customer TCP device,
Yeah.
they do it with it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so our next option is update progress. So again, this you shouldn't ever have to update the progress because this will come from the production updates from the ERP or shop floor system. But if you did need to, you could manually enter the quantity that they've produced in a day.
Yeah.
Okay, if for some whatever reason there was an issue with the schedule, you can actually come into here and specify how many pieces they've produced within
Yes.
a day. Okay, but like I said, hopefully you should never have to do this. Okay, strip notes. This is another good one. What we allow you to have here is notes. So this is a free type field. You can type anything in here, any little reminder to yourself of, this order, don't move it. It's a priority order for TCP, or bring this order. You can put a reason in why. If it's late, you could say this is late because we haven't got the fabric in time, X, Y, Z, and you can say do not move this order, as for example, add that note, close it, if I can remember which one. Do you see how that's gone in italics? The text in there has changed. That's just a highlight to users that this order has a strip note against it. So something's happened to it, you should go into the strip notes and have a look and see what.
Yeah, very good.
Next one, again, really good and important one. Order status. We've seen this a couple of times now already. Once we start to, fill, obviously, with this data and it becomes your day-to-day practice, you'll start to see things like your work in progress. So, how many pieces have I cut already? How many pieces have I sorted? How many pieces are into sewing, and so on and so forth. The colors are all self-explanatory. You've got the icons at the bottom to explain them. Made. Again, that's how many you've made already. Waiting, it's waiting to be cut, sewn, or whatever it is. So here we've got 28,000 pieces waiting to be cut. This is just your total quantity, so 28,000. Mark complete. This is in case of where you have your order quantity maybe 28,000, but however you've got to maybe say 27,000, and that's it. That this order is complete and it's within your tolerance that it's acceptable. It's less than 10%, and the customer will accept it. So you can mark it complete, so it doesn't constantly show as still a requirement for this order. Okay. WIP invalid. That one is just where you've either sewn more than you've cut, or you've got incorrect numbers in there somewhere, and it doesn't like it. It will highlight to you that you're saying something's incorrect. Overdue pieces is saying, based on my plan today, I should have cut X number of pieces. Why haven't you cut them? They're now due. Okay. Material details. Where's that gone? Okay, yeah. Material details. We've been through this a couple of times already. should be familiar with this. This is your MRP screen. This is going to be a main window, so you can flick into here to see where your outstanding materials are. Okay. Link to all the relationships. Now you won't be using this currently, but I could briefly show you what it does. We won't be able, because we're not using links. Okay, no, scratch that. You won't be able to use this because we don't have links turned on. So you can leave that option completely. Change startup. This is obviously where you apply your build-up curves that we just shown before. So, back into this screen where we can select our new models and then assign that as a new model. Change standing time. So if you remember against the group capacities that we set up the other day, where we were specifying the time taken to go in between each operation. So from our cutting to sorting is a day, sorting to sewing a day again, sewing to pack we do on the same day, pack to final order a day. All these standing times after each operation. If, however, you know for a specific order that it's going to be standing around maybe in sorting for more than a day, maybe 2-3 days because of issues with the sewing line or the teams, you can override the 1 day to say 2 days. So set to 2, update, and then what that'll do to the order, it'll give you this blue swatch at the bottom left-hand corner to identify you've applied a change in standing time, which is different from the default. Because what effectively that does is it pushes out your schedule for your other operations. So that schedule report that we're talking about to show you the quantities, that will give you new dates against your schedule. So if we go back into change standing times, you see our target dates will have now increased. So instead of having the 1 day, so instead of having this on the 15th, we're now saying we're not going to start sorting until the 18th. And therefore, we're not going to start sewing until the 19th. So just by adding an extra 2 days, we've added and increased our time scale. Okay, order details, pretty familiar there. That just takes you back to the order window. So you can make any change to the order. Delivery date, won't really ever need to do this. However, I'll show you anyway. This is just if you wanted to manually update the delivery dates. I imagine you should never really touch that because it's coming from your ERP anyway, so you won't need to change your delivery dates. Product details again, that's just taking you back to the product window so you can see maybe your SAMs, product types, change any product descriptions. And what we have here is our edit capacity options. Now, you won't be able to do this because we are doing our capacity by strip and by row. In terms of using the operators, you won't be able to use this option, okay? It won't be enabled for you.
Check my, excuse me, the delivery date.
Yep.
The new delivery date will be restricted from the ERP, or we can make it change it from.
You could change it from here, but the ERP is just going to overwrite it again, if you see what I mean. If you've not changed it in the ERP, the next time
Will be same.
the order interface comes in, you will just set it back to the original again. So you'd still have to change it in the ERP first,
Yeah.
and then it'll come from the ERP and override in Evolve. Otherwise, you're doing it in two places, duplicating
if we
effort.
don't want to change to make new delivery date, and already we passed the original delivery date. You always show to me the red highlighted red, all colors as well, until shipped.
Yes, so it will always show you that you're late.
I don't want to feel that I'm firm. We remove the red highlighted. So we make a new delivery date, so we'll keep like that. No, we will see the delivery date the same, even it would be delayed.
So you're saying you want to keep the original
In some
delivery
order.
dates? Yeah.
But I have the choice to change it.
Yes, you do have the choice to change it, but you would also, like I said, you need to change it in ERP as well.
Yeah.
So you can change your delivery date. We're not stopping you from changing it. You can change
Yeah.
it. The point I'm making is, if you don't change in the ERP first, the next time the ERP imports the orders, it will reset it back to the original. So you just need to make sure that if you change it here manually, you change it in the ERP system as well.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, like I said, editing capacity options, we can't do that. However, next one, changing working hours. This is very useful. Say example, just where you're doing maybe possibly overtime, or maybe you're doing reduced hours, which wasn't scheduled in the calendar, then you can, so for example, say just team 6, where they were doing half a day, you can change their working hours to maybe less, and then without affecting the main calendar in the maintenance area. So this is just a row by row way of changing the working hours here and there. So if you've got one team that may be doing overtime and the rest aren't, then you can change that here. And it's quite straightforward to do. So you can either set it for the selected days. So let's say coming Wednesday, want to change new working hours to, say, let's say they're going to do maybe 3 hours overtime, so we're going to specify 10 hours. Make sure you just specify team 7, so you don't do it to the whole group. You click apply. Now during this week, team 7, yeah. Team 7 are now doing extra additional hours. You can barely see it, let me just zoom in a bit.
Hello?
Okay, yeah. So team 7 on the 22nd, they're now doing more hours than everybody else. So actually you can see their produced output is going to be 12,000 pieces instead of the usual 8,000 pieces, because they're doing overtime on this Thursday. Okay? Well, Wednesday I think it is. So yeah, that's how you control, overtime on a team by team basis or week by week basis, depending on whoever you need. Okay. Next one, multiple strip options. This is more of a maintenance tool or something to when you want to do things en masse. So you've got lots of strips and orders on the planning board, and you want to say, for example, you want to unload loads of strips. For example, you've got a style that is, I don't know, they've pulled it, the customer's pulled this style and they no longer want it. You want to remove all this style from the planning board. You could do it for his, so you could say, all strips for product 3000, We can unload the strip, implement, boom, it removes it, all those orders from the board. You can also do things like link the build-up curve, again, so where we've selected, let's say, you want to select new model for multiple orders. You can associate multiple orders with a build-up curve. So this is just a maintenance tool for editing orders en masse rather than having to go strip by strip and changing them. Okay. Okay, what we have next are override efficiency profiles. So you know how we were setting our proficiency profile by row, where we said, Kazreen does 95% on the polo shirt and then 90% on the t-shirt. Well, you can specify specifically. You can change it to a new efficiency profile for a certain period. So you could say for specifically Team 7, from a date, maybe they've got more experienced workers, you're moving on to Team 7 or one line. You can change their efficiency because their efficiency might be higher than everybody else's. So you can change theirs individually for that line using this and override it just for that line and that line only. Okay? These last two, we've got pull push orders. Now you're going to only be able to do it on the order. So what it effectively does is, let me scroll to the right a bit so you can see it. So for example, where we've got, all these, this is the same order, but just split over multiple lines. If you wanted to move all of them at the same time, bring them forward, you could just pull that forward. So instead of using that option there, you can use the pull orders. If it's multiple across multiple lines, you can move them at the same time. So you can do the same again.
I need to shift one day, insert in one line, insert one urgent.
Yes, just quickly rather than having to.
The urgent direction.
Yeah, so again, you can do it this way as well. So you can go. There you go.
Not all.
If it's not all, just one, then that's when you use this ones here.
Yeah.
If it's just one line, then you say move to mouse position, and you just go and do one. So if you want to do one, you use the one these at the top. If you want to do multiple, you can use this option here and then do it by order. Okay. Okay. Now, equalize order is very similar again to what we just did. So where you have it again, you've got multiple strips split across multiple teams. If you wanted to make sure that all these teams finish on the same day, so we can meet the same delivery points, because you don't want some of them finish early, some of them finish late, you can use equalize order. And then it'll make sure that every single one of these strips finishes on the same day. So see what it's done there?
Yes,
every single one of them. They all finish same time. Okay. And then cancel. Cancel just closes the list down. Okay. So do you feel any questions on what I've just showed you? I know there was a lot of information there.
Yeah.
But you understood the concepts of what we were showing you?
Okay.
Good.
It's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot to.
It's easy and.
Yeah, a lot of it.
But it needs
Practice.
more practice.
Yeah. So.
It's like Helena with the chemistry.
Yeah, you just need to do it again.
Forget it.
Yeah.
You must.
Well, you have from this week till June when we come back to practice. Practice. And I will call you every week to see your progress.
Yeah.
So
He's taking seriously.
Yeah.
I feel he's happy with it.
Yes.
Good.
I can see
Yeah, it will be helpful.
You will be more happy when you see the critical path, the reports, and all the.
This is the end of the last day, right?
Yeah.
For
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, the last day.
We still, but we come back here on Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah.
Yes, we come back here Thursday to discuss about critical path with merchandisers
Yeah. And
and
reports.
We'll show you how to make reports.
Yeah.
Very basic idea how to make
This
reports.
is very important.
And then we'll give you.
Did you make a user for me so I can try some?
Not yet, but I can quickly create some users. Yeah, that's no problem.
You need to learn how to create users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are going to handle that and the security practice.
One of the, this is the IT.
One of your IT.
The IT.
Yeah, they need to know how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
خذوا منه الصبح قبل ما الغسل ما يجي لانه بكره الصبح
It will يعني release a lot of headache from your.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So you can do it.
Yeah.
Changing user, changing password, changing whatever. That technical support issues, which is required day by day.
Okay. So
And also the database name to include it in the backup.
yes, definitely. Speaking of, databases, Jenny, you wanted a backup, didn't you?
Yes.
Because
Can you make a backup for me?
because I've not got access to the server at the moment, so we'll need. Would it be possible to ask one of the team to make a backup of the FastReact
Okay.
database
Yeah, sure.
and then just give it to us by USB or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sheikh, would you like to spend a few more minutes? I know you've been talking a lot today. To show the IT guys also how to create a what if scenario. And
Yes,
go
so
to
yeah,
the
yes, what if,
utilities,
yes.
utility part of
Yes, that's a valid point.
Yeah.
So you remember where we're talking about copying the databases, creating a new one. So if you just show you now, so all it is, quite simple and straightforward, is tools.
If you're going to explain it now, I'll bring the team.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Bring it.
Yeah. Just to do it one time.
Yeah, okay.
ماذا يفهم في 150 كيلو عايزين المسؤولين يجيبوا واحد في واحد دلوقتي مستعجلين عليهم عايز اعملهم قبل ما ندي
It was 3 o'clock already. Jesus.
خد الغرزه من محمد فوزي
Just
هو
watch just a few minutes.
هو 24 واحد
I thought I completely lost track of time then.
You know.
I had no idea.
I hope you buy it. Promise.
No, it's okay. I just completely lost track. I was like, whoa, it's 3 o'clock.
قبل ما ابدا السي في الجديد
خدت الشنطه
24 60 اوبن زي لوت رقم موجود هنا عند 3 ونص من لهم 100 150 كيلو
Projects because
ماشي
she has a meeting today with CGS about reports that come out from the projects and the forecast. So that's why I need to fix it. It's done.
It must be hot if you're feeling that hot. So it's nice for you, you're sitting next to the aircon. I can't feel over here either.
It's just if the door is open, it's
خلصت ولا ايه؟ بس محتاج حاجة تاني؟ محتاج حاجة تاني نص منهم واشرحها. You found it? You found it?
Yes.
It's a bit late in the day now, anyway.
I think it's
مش هتعرف تعملهم كل شهر؟ مش هيكون كمبيوتر ايه؟ بي سي؟ بس يتعملوا خدمات مش هتعرف مش هيعملوها. علمني انت ازاي
The next day is in Bahia.
Yes.
Right.
So
The last day,
Yeah.
with Bahia.
everybody, yeah.
Everybody.
Final meeting. Yeah. So on the Thursday, sorry, we will discuss reporting and then critical path.
Yeah.
So those reports that you've requested, maybe I'll try and see if I can mock them, get examples of them up, and then we can show you on the Friday to show you how to create some of the reports yourself.
Really?
Yes, there
Comes from nowhere.
No, running.
Just from nothing. So you need push to arm.
No. No.
Because you did push to arm. Because push comes from nowhere. Something where I don't know, doing positions.
Hey. Get your mind that. Get out your mind. Get your mind out of the gutter. My body wasn't just used to doing all the exercise. Took it by surprise.
How would you like to set up the standard?
Standard deliveries, I'm not 100% sure that's going to work for them. Purely because standard delivery dates were intended for, say, more than multiple drops.
I'm going to show you some paper. For that, we have something called earliest delivery date option, where you can select from the calendar the date and then add it to it. And maybe we can use the language translator instead of using that functionality for earliest delivery date. Can be like a new delivery day or another day.
But what does the earliest delivery date do? That's the question. Because to be fair, we may not even need to do any extended delivery dates. We may just, I could just quite easily just create a UDF for original delivery date. Quite simple.
And what's
But it has to come.
Okay.
But it has to come from the ERP.
Yeah. So all we do is when
As a date, then comes.
yeah. So all we do is cross things, create another UDF, and then that is always the first the original delivery date, right?
Yeah,
And then-
the original doesn't change. He doesn't want to change.
Yeah, exactly. So in that UDF, we just send the original and it never changes. And then if they decide to change the actual delivery date, they can change that as many times as they want. But the original delivery date of the UDF will always stay the same, which is untouched. So then any reporting they want to do, they can just say, what was the original delivery and what's the actual delivery date. So just use the UDF instead of trying to use up that functionality. That may just break.
anything?
No, we're
See you
complete.
after 2 days, inshallah.
Yeah, Thursday. See you.
2 days? 2 days. 2 days. Thursday. Yeah, I was just confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, could be, but it will not give him the ability to do it manually. It will not give him the ability to do it manually, just the interface.
Why would you want to do manually?
In case, like he said, sometimes he's on the phone with customer and then he has to give a new delivery date.
Hey,
That's the scenario he made.
isn't that 2 different problems we're talking about here?
Let me ask you.
Because what you're just saying, that for them, we're going to do provisional ones for that.
Yeah, that's for provisional person, another situation as well.
Yeah, and then the other situation was where, because they want to be able to monitor the original delivery date that was originally proposed to the customer versus the whatever they changed it to.
Yeah.
So So the original delivery date problem, we're going to solve just have a UDF with the original delivery date.
Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah. And then they should monitor that. And then for the second one that you just mentioned, that's just the provisional manual order.
Yeah, no, that's I understand all of that.
Mm.
But utilizing the extended delivery by the UDF option,
Mm.
that will be he will be able to manually change that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a use. Blah, 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 blah.
It's just a date UDF.
Yeah. Wait, I'm just saying that coming from the need space, it's just so they're not having to duplicate effort, go in and manually update the original delivery date. I mean, it's just...
Does he need to communicate that to the ERP after?
No, because it just hold it in Evolve,
Yeah.
just for tracking purposes.
Okay.
And then...
So are they coming to see what?
Yeah, but I'm searching for one of them disappeared.
Uh-oh, we've lost internet connection again.
Tomorrow it's gonna be fun, right? Yeah.
There's hardly any flies that way. Freaking flies.
It's more and more every day because it's colder and colder every day. Oh, I have a lot of money here. I can just go back to the UK. Buy a new house.
I'm not sure that's enough to buy you a plane ticket home. Just make it rain. Just do the thing where you're like... Are you looking like a drug dealer?
Sure. What are you buying this? Is buying near the beach or something? Near the coast.
Unlikely.
If this